Tonight, the East Coast Thunder League presents the Memorial 500 live from the Talladega Super Speedway as we pay homage to two of the greatest guys in the sim racing community. ECT Smoke, Lynn White, and past DRTV winner Lynn Voiles both left us far too soon. So grab a snack, your favorite beverage, and strap yourself in because you're in for one wild ride next, live on DRTV.
And we welcome you to DRL Network's live coverage of the ECT Memorial 500 tonight from the Talladega Super Speedway, that 2.66 mile super speedway we all know and love. We've seen here many, many times here on DRTV. We're thrilled to have this event for you here live tonight. Being put on by our friends at East Coast Thunder Gaming, East Coast, ECTSimRacing.com. Check these guys out. A great league, a bunch of great guys here, Todd. And what can you say? We have a star-studded field here, jammed to the gills. 35 drivers set to take the green flag for 94 laps at Talladega. Strap in, partner. I think we're going for a wild ride.
Yeah, definitely going to be one wild ride here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Guys from all different sorts of leagues, Bomb Squad Racing, East Coast Thunder, Rolling Thunder Gaming. There's all kinds of leagues out there right now that are going tooth and nail, fighting for this Memorial win here this evening. This is star-studded field, Phil, and it's open setups, something we're not accustomed to here on DRTV. We've only done a handful of open setup racing, and a couple of those coming live here at East Coast Thunder, and these put on one whale of a show.
Oh, yeah, no, open setups at a super speedway like a Talladega, it certainly provides us with a tremendously different feel than we're accustomed to seeing here on DRTV. Not the first time we've done it, and we've seen it here different times before. It certainly made some great racing here, so a lot of great things to come. And Rich Patton, 94 laps here at Talladega, a really, really strong field of guys on hand, and, of course, here for a great cause tonight, paying homage to our late friends, Lynn Smoke White and Lynn Voiles also. So, big job to these guys over here at East Coast Thunder for putting such a great event on.
Yeah, most definitely couldn't agree with you more. Looking for a good race around this 2.66 mile tri-oval track. Pit road speed's going to be 55 mile an hour. Moderate damage. Pit frequency is 2x tire wear. Running 94 laps, as you mentioned before. Pit window appears to be between 17 and 21. Again, it depends on the open setups. These guys could have variances going on there. So it's going to be interesting to see how these guys do in the draft and what packs get together as far as their setups go. And big hats off to our sponsors tonight, Roland Grill, ECT, of course, ECTSimRacing.com, and big hats off to Turn out there also with Sterling Marlowe Racing. So looking for some fun out here, and I think we're in for a good race with a bunch of great drivers. Full field tonight, guys.
Oh, absolutely. It's a big race field here, the ECT Memorial 500 at the Talladega Super Speedway. As we said, 35 drivers will take the green flag. Open setups here tonight at Talladega. And Todd, for our driver, for all our viewers out there that may not be all that familiar with the open setup concept, tell us what kind of different things that our viewers can expect at a place like Talladega when you come to an open setup.
It's not as bad as what you would see maybe a local short track or short track where you're setting up your car different ways, changing wedge, changing just different things. You're going to see a lot of different grill tape adjustments. You may see a few wedge adjustments here, but most of these guys have this set up down pat. These guys have been practicing for weeks and months at a time here to try to get this set up and perfect this setup here out there at the Talladega Super Speedway, Phil. There's not a lot of different tweaks that you do at a super speedway as compared to maybe your intermediate tracks or your short tracks. But that setup, being an open setup, you're going to see a lot different style of racing compared to what you would do with a fixed fast setup or a fixed setup period in some of these leagues.
No, I could not agree with you more there. I mean, it's such a different animal here than we're used to seeing, and I think it's going to make for a tremendous race at Talladega, as it always seems to do here anytime we get on the airways in an open setup. And of course, we get a thank you to all these guys over at East Coast Thunder Sim Racing. ECTSimRacing.com is the home of ECT. And let's see if we can't talk to one of the guys very, very instrumental to getting all of us at DRTV out here tonight. And that is Mr. Mike Scott, ECT's owner. Mike, it's Phil from DRTV, my friend. You have a copy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. Thank you very much.
Well, Mike, thank you very much for allowing all of us here at DRL Network to be a part of this great event here tonight, the ECT Memorial 500 at Talladega. And I just want to ask you, I know, of course, we're here tonight paying tribute to two former friends of ECT that have left us too soon, that being Lynn Smoke White and also Lynn Voiles, who unfortunately passed away recently. And we're all here tonight to pay homage to them guys, and I'm sure it's a tremendous honor here at ECT to all you guys to carry those two brilliant names on and put a great show on there for them tonight.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We've been doing this race for a few years, ever since Smoke passed, and then when we lost another brother, uh, a real dear friend of ours, Lynn, we decided to put him in there, and we have had a great turnout. Everybody that's raced tonight has raced with them too, at one time or another. A lot of us have met him. You know, I have met both of them. From my real racing background, and it was just a pleasure. It is a pleasure for all of us to do this, and we're just going to have a great time in their honor.
No, absolutely right. And it's a tremendous honor for us here at DRL Network as well, Mike, for allowing us to be a small part of this and keeping the legacy of those two drivers alive. And, of course, they're alive and well in all the thoughts and hearts of everybody over here at East Coast Thunder. But, Mike, something we're not used to seeing here anytime we come to Talladega, you guys at ECT do this really, really well. Open setups at a place like Talladega. What kind of different wrinkles do you think we may see over the course of this race with an open setup? Because that certainly allows you guys to make those late race adjustments that may propel you to a checkered flag here later on.
Well, the difference between open and closed setups is open. It's going to be fast. They're going to be fast, and they're going to be a little loose, and so you got to set everything up so you can drive her fast. The old saying is loose is fast, loose is fast. Well, that's true, but it's you're going to see upwards of like 201 mile an hour. It's running in a truck, and that is unheard of, and it just there's a lot of difference. Coming on pit road is different. You can't dive bomb pit road like you normally can, and you can add tape. You can take tape away. You can do everything you can do to a real car, to make your car go faster.
Well, Mike, we want to wish you well the rest of the evening here. I know you're a super speedway ace in your own right, and you certainly have a stacked field over here at East Coast Thunder here tonight for this awesome event. I want to wish you good luck, let you get back out in the speedway, make those last-second adjustments to your number 46. But once again, on behalf of all of us here at DRL Network, I want to say thank you for allowing us to be a part of this great event. And I can't wait to see how you guys do all the twists and turns here at Talladega tonight. Put on a good show for us, and good luck, and thank you again.
Yeah, but thank you very much, and I want to thank y'all for coming over and being a part of this. And I want to thank all the racers from all the leagues, and I want to thank all the sponsors. ECT and Pete Sedone, the owner, I want to thank him. I want to thank John Fagioni and Rolling Grill. He's a sponsor. I want to thank Q and Bruce Phelan and Q Racing for doing all the cars for us. He is a sponsor, and I want to thank Sterling Ballin Racing because they're the ones that provided these surprise gifts that we got tonight.
All right. Well, Mike Scott, again, thank you very much for all those great words and so much great stuff coming on here tonight. And I'm going to throw it over to Mr. TV Time, Rich Pat, and I know Mike mentioned there we've got some special prizes available to some of these guys tonight. I want you to shed some light on that. What are these guys racing for?
Yeah, guys, ECT and all those guys over there, everybody putting this together, was able to come up with a couple signed hero cards from Sterling Martin. And the way that they're going to work, they've got 2 cards to hand out tonight. Whoever is leading the race on lap 34 and also on lap 47, those are going to be the 2 guys that get to pick those cards. The way that's going to work is the leader of those 2 guys, whoever finishes highest in the ranks at the end of this event, will have first picks on the Sterling Marlin hero signed card. So 2 hero signed cards. Going to be interesting to see who's hitting the checkered flag or the checkered line on lap 34 and lap 47.
Also, we're going to do a silent tribute lap on both of those laps as well, so we'll be able to see all the action on the speedway on those laps when the winner of those prizes will be awarded. And one of the great things we're going to do here as part of this coverage here, the ECT Memorial 500 tonight at Talladega, and Todd is looking out on the speedway. These guys all juking and jiving, making moves, and looks like we're going to be for one spectacular ride here at Talladega.
Yeah, I've been watching these guys go back and forth. 47.252 is the top of the charts right now. Roger Bevins in that number 24. That is way different from qualifying. Qualifying was in the 50.670 range. That was your pole sitter. So 3 seconds difference, Phil, between pole time and the time that you're out there in the draft. These guys are really fast, and Mike was saying loose, and all these drivers look like they have a handful out there.
Oh, yeah, I think you're right. You know, as Mike said, it's going to make for some loose times here off the interim part of the run. I think it's just going to make for more of the excitement here of the racing as we get into this thing. 94 laps here at Talladega Superspeedway, and looking at some of the qualifying times up there. I mean, really, really tight when you think about the concept of an open setup. Sean Prime putting it on the pole with a 50.670. Denny Daniels, haven't seen Denny on DRTV in quite a while, on the outside pole, a 50.677. You look all the way back down through like the top 10, you've got like 10 or 15 guys, Todd, all the way down to 14th, separated by just less than 1,000th of a second. This is a ultra quick field, and I think we're going to be in for quite a barn burner.
Yeah, definitely going to be in for quite a barn burner out there. There's all kinds of different things. We're seeing qualifying positions out there on the screen right now as they sit. We are going to do that order here momentarily. About 2 or 3 or 4 more minutes here. We'll do the qualifying order here for all the drivers that are involved here in the ECT Memorial 500. And again, it's to honor and pay homage to ECT Smoke, Lynn White, and Lynn Voiles. He won a race here on DRTV not so long ago in that number 47 CSX truck, I believe. He was piloting that around the speedway, and he actually brought home a victory here live on DRTV, so it's also near and dear that we get to see Lynn actually win a race here live on DRTV.
And we're thrilled to have his son, Brian Voiles, out there tonight aboard that number 47. So we'll see if we can't talk to Brian here later on, but I don't want to get him all wrapped up in the emotion of being in that ride. I want to let him concentrate on what he's doing on the racetrack. But we said, Todd, you got about 4.5 minutes away before these things get on the grid. So let's see if we can't talk to one of the other drivers out there tonight. Let's see if we can't get a word with our pole sitter. See if we can't get the 015 of Sean Prime. He's going to put that thing up on the pole tonight. We haven't talked to Sean in quite a while, so let's see if maybe he's got his ears on and see what's going on behind that number 015. Sean Prime, it's Phil Lacasse on DRTV, buddy. Do you have a copy?
I do, gentlemen. How are you?
Sean, we're doing great. You put that thing out on the pole, a 50.670. That's a very impressive lap out there, buddy. Tell us about it.
Oh, that's a heck of a thing. Surprised myself. Not my forte. I'm here just to have fun. I really just really proud to be in this field with the ECT guys and Honor and Smoke and Lynn. I'm just really proud to be here.
Now, Sean, you're a veteran racer, and we know you get around the super speedways really well. We've seen you there in Victory Lane multiple occasions over the years, and a new flavor we've talked about briefly here during the pre-race is the concept of open setups. Now, how different of an animal is that when you come to a place like Talladega? What kind of things can you do here through the middle stages of this run, or maybe toward late in the race, that maybe give you some more speed to make that run to the win?
Well, I am a bit of a setup guy, but on the super speedways, not so much. I threw something together here at the last minute, and we're going to see what we're going to have, more. But I'm just here to have fun. It's a big test session for me. There are some adjustments you can make in race. I think you're going to see some pop motors as the race goes on, with guys making a little bit too much adjustment. And at super speedway, it's really all about the final gear and the tape and how much poison you want to go. I had to make some adjustments, for instance, because I'm starting out front where I didn't expect to. So I had to make a couple minor adjustments to accommodate for that, and we'll take it from there. But like I said, I'm just happy to be part of this, and I really want to thank ECT for putting this on, and Q Racing and Rolling Grill Barbecue and Sterling Marlin Racing. All those guys helped to make this event, and Lynn's daughter, Kat, was in here at the drivers' meeting, which was really a moving thing because she kind of put it all together in a capsule for us. We're just a community. We're all out here having fun. It's our escape from life. It's what we love to do. It's what we enjoy doing. And that's what Lynn looked at it like, and I know that's what Smoke looked at it like too. And she could really bring that home and say, her father just loved looking forward to getting away from it all and coming in here to race with the guys. And that's it in a nutshell, man.
Well, I couldn't agree with you more, Sean. We're all here for a great cause, paying homage to the two gentlemen, and we're all thrilled to be a part of this great event here tonight. You're going to pull that thing off on the pole, so we'll wish you good luck there, buddy. We got a lot of laps to do, 94 laps at Talladega. Awful lot of things can happen in the interim, but we'll wish the 015 well, and we'll certainly probably talk to you here later on, so good luck, my friend.
For sure. Just here to have fun, and we'll see how it goes. Hey, guys, have a great broadcast.
All right, Sean Prime, the 015. Been quite a while since we talked to Sean, and Todd, no surprise to anybody else. And you see the likes of the guys we have in this field. No surprise at all to see that 015 up on the pole.
Yeah, definitely no surprise to see Sean Prime out there. He's one of them crafty veterans, and he is a setup guy. He's made many setups here, many moons ago, I should say. I've tried out quite a few of his setups out there on some of the speedways, and he's kind of pulling your leg, I think, when he's saying that he's not really that good of a setup guy for super speedways. I think Sean, with his setup knowledge, will do just fine, obviously, on the pole here for this event. So I guess he just don't want to give his secrets away too much.
I'm not sure how many secrets these guys want to give away here, especially when we get, I know we keep grilling these guys about the open setup and the different things they can do. I'm sure the racers' mentality is these guys are going to keep all their cards close to their vest, and we'll see what happens here. So just about a minute away from the wrap-up of happy hour, maybe get these guys out on the grid and put this ECT Memorial 500 under the green flag. But, of course, how you can find East Coast Thunder, ECTSimRacing.com. These guys have multiple nights of the week, so many different series that come out of the ECT stable. Great group of guys, Pete, Mike, all the gang over here at ECT. They'll certainly take care of you. Once again, ECTSimRacing.com. And, of course, here at DRTV, the home of DRTV is DRLnetwork.com. Check out the full broadcast schedule. I know about a month from now we have another great race scheduled with the ECT guys, and, of course, much more to come here. So check out the website, DRLnetwork.com, for the full broadcast schedule. And Todd Stanton, I cannot wait to put this thing under the green flag. We just got such a star-studded, heavy-hitter type of field here tonight at Talladega. Let's just dive straight into the starting lineup.
And now your starting lineup for the East Coast Thunder Memorial 500 here live from the Talladega Super Speedway. Starting on the pole, driving the 015, that's Sean Prime, and his dancing partner to the outside pole sitter, driving the 37, that's Denny Daniels.
Rolling off tonight from row number 2 on the inside will be the car, or truck number 46. That's ECT Mike Scott. We talked to Mike during the pre-race show. And on the outside in the 201, that's Cleft Elfit.
Starting in that fifth starting position, driving the number 17, that's ECT Chuck McClure. And outside of him, driving the 003, that's David Cannon.
From Bob Squad Racing, we'll roll off the 038 from position number 7. And that, of course, is Shane Vickers in the 038. And to his outside in the number 95, somebody we have not seen here in quite a while on DRTV. We welcome back John Forgione.
Starting in that ninth starting position in the double knot, the 00 per se, that is Ben Beasy, another Bomb Squad Racing machine. And outside of him, driving the number 24, that's Roger Bevins.
Rolling off from the 11th position tonight will be the driver of car number 73. That is Larry Borger. And to his outside in the 051, that is Mike Morrison.
Starting in that 13th starting position, driving the 088, that's Tim Nosker. And outside of him, driving the 75. In that 14th starting position, that's Bruce DeMarco.
15th starter tonight, we find car number 33. That is Fred Morell aboard the 33. And to his outside in row number 8, in car number 83 from BSR, that's Tim Scarborough.
Starting in that 17th starting position, driving the number 56, that's Scott Guys White. And outside of him, driving the number 88, that's Jim Black in the 18th starting position.
Rolling off tonight from row number 10, 19th starter will be the driver of car number 54. That, of course, is Robbie Nisus, a mainstay here at ECT for a very long time. And to his outside, aboard car number 25, been a while since we've seen this gentleman as well, that is Brian Bell rolling off 20th.
Starting in that 21st starting position, driving the number 428, that's Mark Pagula. And outside of him, driving the 07, that's Donnell.
Rolling off tonight from position number 23 will be driver of car number 47. Paying tribute here to his father, Lynn Voiles, tonight. That is Brian Voiles aboard the number 47, rolling off 23rd. And to his outside, 24 starter aboard the number 38. That is JT Mayhew.
Starting in that 25th starting position, driving the number 1, that's Pete Sindone. And outside of him, driving in the 26th position, that's the driver of the number 77. That's the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett.
Start your engine!
As the command of fire engines has been given, rolling up tonight from row number 15, 27 starter.
Make sure we
the
stay
driver
out
of
there, stay out
car
of
number
trouble, stay out of the
43,
wall,
that is Richard
stay
Martin.
on the lead
To his
lap.
outside,
Second
and
half
the
of the
number
race until we
14,
go
that is
for it,
Hody Bear, Brian Hogue.
Starting at 29th starting position, driving the number 8, that's Wayne Quackenbush. And outside of him, driving the number 13, that's Bruce Phelan.
Rolling off tonight from position number 31 will be the pilot of truck number 11. That'll be Lee Helmer. And to his outside in the number 18, that's David Lawson.
Next row back in the 002, that's Slocum, and outside of him is TJ Hagler. That rounds out your field here for the Memorial 500, the Talladega Super Speedway, Phil.
34 drivers strong are going to take the green flag. They have answered the call. They are ready for 94 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. Of course, the ECT Memorial 500 being done in memory of past drivers Lynn Smoke White and also Lynn Voiles, two lost drivers to the NASCAR Racing 2-on-3 community, two longtime members of East Coast Thunder here, and they're going to pay tribute to them as only these guys at ECT can. 94 laps around the Talladega Super Speedway. It is Sean Prime. He's going to roll off from the pole. Denny Daniels in the 37. Mike Scott, Cleft Alfit make up row 2. You'll find heavy hitters like Chuck McClure, David Cannon, Shane Vickers. They'll make up that top 3 or 4 rows. John Forgione also there in the number 95. It's going to be anybody's race. We'll have to see what happens here, Todd. The field is in turns number 3 and 4 behind that DRTV pace fan, and we're about to put this ECT Memorial 500 under the green flag.
Getting ready to get this under the green flag. It looks like a Corvette out there on the speedway. The van broke down coming down to the Talladega Super Speedway, so I believe we got a Corvette out there held in front of this field. We're getting ready to pull off just the same. Off, down, hard left-hand turn, down at the Talladega Super Speedway. And it looks like it's going to be Sean Prime, of course, leading them down here with Denny Daniels on the outside of him, getting ready to get the green flag, getting ready to put that loud pedal down here through the tribal. We're just waiting on the flagger to throw that green flag and get this Memorial 500 underway. Flagger's still waiting here down through that trioval. Talladega Super Speedway. Green flag is in the air. Getting this expense just a building here. And it looks like Sean Prime going to lead here. Getting a good start with Mike Scott right there in that 3rd spot. But he is going to be able to follow the 015 of Sean Prime there momentarily. They're side by side, 2nd through 3rd.
Yeah, and it's going to also bring the 17 of Chuck McClure. He started off in that 5th position in that number 17. He's going to roll off the inside as well, try to make that a 3-tandem breakaway at the front. Never mind that. As they head down the back straightaway, the 37 of Denny Daniels, their outside pole sitter. He's going to fight back, Todd. They're going to be side by side for the race lead to turn 3.
Yeah, just as we thought Sean Prime was going to be able to pull away and run away and hide here momentarily. There comes the number 37 of Denny Daniels battling back on the outside of the speedway. In that number 37 machine, already a truck up in the wall there momentarily. Looked like he side-slapped the wall. Going to have to venture back and see who that was. But able to keep it clean and green straight all the way down here, down through the trioval. Looks like the number 37 going to lead the first lap here for the 500 Memorial race here at the Talladega Super Speedway. That's Denny Daniels.
And Denny Daniels at 37 going to try to break out to that early race lead. Not sure to place like Talladega, you know, you're going to escape that, but I think the outside lane looking like so far the outside's going to be that benefactor. Cleft Alfit, the 201. He's going to make that surge to the outside lane. He'll bring help up there in the form of the Dave Cannon machine, the 003. They're going to be too wide for 3rd as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, definitely too wide for 3rd. These guys fighting tooth and nail, trying to get back to the top spot is the 015 of Sean Prime. Prime battling back on the high side. This is one of those Tally rally tracks here, and it's one of those preferred grooves. Is that high groove, Phil? But you get enough trucks down on the bottom side, you're going to be able to prevail. Looks like maybe Sean Prime maybe got that time by. He did indeed. Lead lap number 2. That'd be Sean Prime in the 015. Denny Daniels right there, and that you want to see how close it was. 0.005 between himself and Denny Daniels at the line, so this is close. White knuckle racing here at the Talladega Super Speedway early on in the going.
Yeah, it is certainly white knuckle racing. Looks like a high-speed chess match as they come down the back straightaway. Now working lap number 3, Denny Daniels making that strong move on the outside lane. Sean Prime with that benefit of all the help he's got on the low side. He'll fight back on the inside. And Todd, I want to ask you, though, as we see these guys just juking and jiving at, you know, close to 195 miles per hour in this draft, you know, we talk about the outside lane being that preferred lane, but when you think about it here, the term of open setups tonight, all the different adjustments these guys have built in, what kind of things can you do? And do you think you can find any kind of advantage to maybe make that thing go faster on the low side?
You can change, like Sean was saying early on when we interviewed Sean Prime, the pole sitter here in the 015. You can change some of the gear ratios. You can change some of the tape. You may see some of these guys, like you said, pop the motor here later on in the event, and that's because they're adding grill tape or adding a little less gear in their machines and maybe putting them R's up through the group or putting your water temperature up. through the roof there, and you're going to be able to yourself when you got that tape down, you can have front downforce on the front end of the machine and be able to pro up front, but that's going to raise your water temperature also, so you got to watch your P's and Q's here.
You certainly do. I'm just scanning back all the way through the field here. Everybody in a 2-wide formation, looking out to see if maybe somebody pulls it down in the inside 3 wide. And I think I may have found the first battle back there that may be 3 wide. It's around the 83 of Scarborough machine. Also, there's a yellow and white truck just up ahead of them. I'm not sure. That might be the Tim Novsky machine. I think those guys, Todd, they're all looking to make a 3 wide back there. Now there's contact in the back straightaway. Multiple trucks around, one even airborne, and where it's no doubt going to put us on the yellow flag for the first time tonight. A big one there in the back straightaway.
Yeah, it looks like a few drivers got their pilot licenses down the back straightaway, and that's not the way you want to start this race here at the Talladega Superspeedway. And unfortunately, these guys, there was quite a few trucks heavily damaged in that mire. Mark Pagula, I watched him hit the inside wall. Robbie Nisus also involved. There's quite a few trucks involved here. Going to have to let Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, be able to show that from many different angles. I'm telling you, Rich, you're going to have fun with that one.
I'm sure he's going to, and I was just scanning through the field, Todd, just seeing all these guys. White Knuckle racing 2 wide, was peeking back at a 3 wide battle just outside the top 10. You know, just kind of monitoring what these guys all over the place were doing. And as those guys broke off at turn number 2, I think you're going to see there's just somebody got loose there in that middle lane and made contact to the outside lane, and just it was on from there. I mean, guys just unfortunately around in the wrong direction at these high rates of speed. Certainly could tear up your equipment at a place like a Talladega. We'll let Rich Patton get all squared away with a DRTV replay, give you all the great looks as he does here week after week on the DRL network. We're here tonight with Talladega Superspeedway, 2.66 miles around. So there's certainly a lot of ground to cover, but I believe Rich is ready with the replay. He's done a great job as always. And Rich, we'll start you for the replay. We had the big one off of turn number 2.
Yeah, early in the race, we're only 5 laps in. We're going to keep our eyes on the number 25 of Brian Bell. He is trying to, or got stuck in the middle, not sure. We'll let this play it out as they come around off the corner. We'll go ahead and full speed for a moment. We'll slow it down once the action starts. Brian gets a little wiggly. He goes down and taps into Novsker. That's going to send him right up into the 33. Let's move over there and see who that is, because things start getting really crazy. That's going to be Fred Morel. And things get out of control, so we'll go ahead and let this run through a little bit, slow it down right here. You're going to see there's quite a few trucks sideways facing the wrong way. We've got 2 nose riders right there, tail end of the trucks pointing to the sky. Unbelievable. Right in front of another truck, and then all of a sudden another one. That's the 38. That's going to be, is that Vickers? We've got to move over there and see who that is. Oh, can't get over there too. We'll let this play out. But the 38 is up in the fence. Nose is up in the fence as this is going on. We'll go ahead and move this out a little bit further. We've got the 33 rolling down the front, doing barrel rolls, along with the 38 also started doing rolls, does some wheel hopping. Everybody ends up back on their feet or on all 4 rubbers. Tough break for everybody involved. Good thing this is moderate damage. But I think at these speeds with this draft, it's going to affect these guys pretty bad. Back up to you.
All right, so we'll have to monitor all the progress on multiple drivers involved there at Talladega. You know, guys getting their pilot's license. I believe that might have been the 38 of JT Mayhew there, one of the guys that was just scooting along there and maybe had aviation plans in his future here. So we'll reset here the first caution flag of the night, the ECT Memorial 500 tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway, paying tribute to 2 fallen drivers here who are longtime members of ECT. That, of course, Lynn Smoke White and Mr. Lynn Boyles, who was a recent winner here over the last couple of months, or past couple of years, rather, on DRTV. So certainly a sad thought that Lynn is no longer with us, but somebody we're really thrilled to have with us here to see that number 47 out on the Speedway tonight. That, of course, Lynn's son, Brian Boyles, behind the wheel. Let's see if we can't talk to Brian here on DRTV. Brian, it's Phil from DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Yes, I got a copy.
Brian Boyles, it's great to talk to you, my friend, and it is such a great honor to see that number 47 out there on the Speedway tonight, and I'm sure you carry that in your father's honor, and must have a lot of emotion here coming into a race like this tonight.
Yeah, it's very emotional. Right now, we're just trying to stay in the back, let things thin out a little bit, and survive through the first half of it, and then hopefully there at the end we can have Dad back up front one last time.
Well, absolutely. We're going to all pull for that as well. Lynn was certainly a very good guy. We got to know him here a couple of times. We got to have him on DRTV. Was always very gracious to us. Was able to pick up a victory here in one of the last races we had him on. So that was always great as well. And Brian, you know, said it's such an honor to see that 47 out there. We're thankful to have you on the racetrack tonight. What do you think we can expect here? We got a lot of racing here left to go. Just about outside of 80 laps still here left to go at Talladega. Of course, anything can happen. What do you think we're going to see over the next couple of hours?
Well, I feel like as long as everything's bunched up at any time, you know, there could be a little accident, somebody a little loose or a little tight coming off a corner, you know. So right now we're just trying to hang right on the bottom and hopefully avoid anything, like I said, until the end of the race.
Well, Brian, we want to say thank you again from all of us here at DRTV. Thank you for being out here with us tonight and giving us a couple of words. But, you know, as a driver out there, we all want to go out there and win. I want to give you the microphone one last time. I want you to give a shout out to your friends, your family, your sponsors, your team, anybody you'd like to say hi to out there and acknowledge. So the floor is all yours, my friend.
Yeah, I'd just like to say thanks to all my friends and family. I want to thank East Coast Racing for sponsoring this, you know, East Coast Thunder, Rolling Grill Barbecue, 4Q Racing, SM Racing, Sterling Marlin Racing, and also you guys at DRTV.
All right. Well, Brian, we're going to wish you well here. We're going to be rooting for that number 47. It's really great to see you on the racetrack. And good luck, my friend. We hope to see you give that thing a good ride and put Lynn at the front one more time, as you said. We're all pulling for you, my friend.
All right. Thank you.
All right. That's Brian Boyles aboard that number 47 there out on the speedway. I think he got all clear of that wreck, Todd, but unfortunately for a couple of guys out there, we're seeing damage, seeing guys on and off pit road. And, you know, the good thing for these guys, moderate damage at Talladega with the open setups, maybe something these guys can do to maybe overcome the damage and find their way back to the front of this thing before too long.
Yeah, they have a little bit more things that they can play with and try to be able to make it towards the front just a little bit. But I'm telling you right now, the leader is lights are still on top that that pace vehicle out there on the speedway. And I'm telling you, the Corvette there, it's one of those things that we're just going to call it the pace car tonight because I'm so used to seeing that DRTV van out there, and it's just not there because I think Phil broke it. But Sean Prime is your current race leader. Chuck McClure is running second. Third would be David Cannon. Fourth is the 038 of Shane Vickers. Mike Morrison in the 051 is fifth. Sixth is Denny Daniels. Seventh is a 201 of Clef Delta. Eighth is a 24 of Roger Bevins. Ninth is the 46 of Mike Scott. And 10th is the 088 of Tim Nosker. Lights are out atop the pace van. We're getting ready to go back to green flag racing.
All right, so we're about to put this thing back under the green flag, as Todd said. 9 laps of 94 on the board. A lot of racing here left to do here on DRL Network, live from the Talladega Superspeedway. Our pole sitter, Sean Prime, out in the race lead. Chuck McClure, David Cannon, Shane Vickers, Mike Morrison, your current top 5. Denny Daniels, 6th. Clef Delta is 7th. Roger Bevins, 8th. Mike Scott is 9th. Tim Nosker, that's going to be your top 10. The field of trucks all in the back straightaway, half a lap ready from getting back under the green flag conditions. And what do you think we can expect to see here, Todd? We've seen these guys, you know, all 2 wide racing. Wasn't much in the way of 3 wide racing. Everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's there toward the back of this field. Do you think we're going to see anybody out there ducking out 3 wide? Or you think you're going to see these guys right around the line and make laps for a little while?
I think you're going to see a lot of these guys right around the line. That incident happened there early on in the going there towards the back. But a lot of those guys are going to have to see what's going to happen there. And some of these guys are not going to be able to go out there 3 wide and try to make it 2 wide. But these guys just making it 2 wide out there on the speedway at Talladega Super Speedway. And they're not trying to push the issue early. I mean, we're coming up on lap 10 when we get the green flag here, the completion of lap 10. And there's 94 laps left to go, Phil. So I don't see a lot of these guys going to be able to push it there.
Well, we'll have to see what happens here. The pace car about to make its way onto pit road. 55 miles per hour, the pace speed here at the Talladega Superspeedway. Field being paced by the 015, the pole sitter, Sean Prime. He'll lead the field off of turn number 4. As we've documented here at Talladega, we've seen it many, many times, the start-finish line, all the way down to the exit of the tri-oval, down toward turn 1. So the green flag does wait a little bit here to drop on the field. Sean Prime can see the flag stand. Flagger sees Sean, green flag in hand. Green flag is out.
That green flag is out. The loud pedal is down, coming down into corner one. Lap and a half to get up to full song, even with open setups. Looks like the number 17 of Chuck McClure there missed a shift. He's dropping back fast through the field. The number 17 machine, he's way up on the high side. He got out of the way though, Phil. And I'm telling you what though, 17 of Chuck McClure went way back. It looked like he threw a parachute out.
Oh, it certainly did. That allowed that first front five to sneak away down the back straightaway. Now you see those guys that form up out sixth place on back, 2 by 2. Mike Scott, the 46 is there. Also, he has the 51 of Mike Morrison, and we see contact on the racetrack. So all sorts of things happening there off of turn 4.
Yeah, contact happened off of turn number 4. Mike Scott, I believe it was contact Tim Nosker, the 37 of Denny Daniels. He was the guy up there flirting with the outside wall in that number 37 machine. He's able to keep it right. He was all kinds of out of shape. The wall kind of helped him keep it straight, and he keeps it going. So good save by Denny Daniels there. He's able to keep it going. Hopefully not too much damage for the wear on that number 37 machine, as he was pretty stout here early on in the going.
Yeah, he certainly was. We'll have to see what the 37s got left as they sprint down the back straightaway. 11 of 94 on the board. We saw single file racing through the first top 3. Now one pulling on the line. The 46 of Mike Scott. He's on the assault to the low lane. He'll put Mike Morrison all by his also on the top side. They're side-by-side racing for third, Todd, off of turn 4.
Yeah, Mike Morrison has some help there. It looks like Larry Borger in that number 73 machine. He is right behind the number 51, 051 of Mike Morrison, as Scott tried to pull out a line in that number 46 machine, trying to get the bottom side to work. But right now it's not prevailing for him. As now here comes David Cannon down to the bottom side. He's trying to get around Mike Morrison also. In that number 3 machine, that 003 machine, he's trying to get away with Sean Prime real strong here. He can move his truck anywhere on the speedway. Here comes Morrison, though, on the top side in that 051. He's battling back down the back straightaway.
Yeah, you can certainly see that outside lane certainly plays dividends as they head down the back straightaway. Mike Morrison using all that advantage there to his outside. Larry Borger, that 73, gives him quite the shove down into turn number 3. Inside lane, though, Todd, these guys still 2 by 2 by 2. From first all the way back to outside the top 30. We're seeing everybody in that 2-wide formation. Nobody can seem to get away from each other at this point.
Yeah, Sean Prime is pretty strong there on the bottom side, and that's one of the weakest ways around the speedway right now, and he was showing some muscle down there, but that top group just prevailing, the middle of the top here at the Tally TR version, and the top group is the preferred line around the speedway, and it's just Morrison just showing some muscle there with Larry Borger right there on his rear bumper, and I'm telling you what, he's slam drafting that 051 machine, and he's doing it down the back straightaway as I speak right now. He's just pushing that 051 out towards the front, and they're trying to run away and hide there, as now the 24 of Roger Bevins also able to get out of line there. He's not 2 by 2 anymore. Sean Prime dropping back through the field on the bottom groove.
Yeah, he got stuck down there all by himself, and as you can see, those top 6, 7 guys, they have all just dove by that 15 on the outside lane. Now they'll form back in a 2-wide formation as the Cleft Delta machine, the 201, 4th truck in line. They're going to dive to the inside. Now a race for the lead off of turn 4.
They ditched the 051 of Mike Morrison as Larry Borger goes to the lead with the help of the number. It looks like the number 24 machine. It is the 24 of Roger Bevins. Bevins went down to the bottom side to try to help him. But Morrison has some more help on the top side of the speedway. In that number 051 machine, he's able to keep it up with the number 73 of Borger as Forgione in the number 95 machine is working over the top side of the speedway with Morrison.
Yeah, Morrison trying to make that outside work. John Forgione in that number 95. We know he knows his way to Talladega real well. We've seen him on victory lane multiple times here over the years, and he's got that black and red number 95 all the way up to that 3rd spot, trying to shove Mike Morrison forward. He cannot shake that 73 of Larry Borger, the 24 of Roger Bevins there as well. He may duck out, almost make that 3 wide off of turn 2.
They almost make it a 3 wide there, but Mike Morrison still hanging on the lead down in the back straightaway here. Coming into turn number 3, the bottom line looks like it threw a little bit of a parachute as again the top group faster here right now coming into turn number 3. As Mike Morrison leads them with John Forgione in that number 95 machine. He is running in second here momentarily. The Borger pulls right up, back up alongside of Forgione in that number 95 machine. He's not able to pull off the pass down here through the trial wall, through the start finish line and give Morrison that lap.
Yeah, Morrison will have the outside advantage and lead lap number 16 up on the board. 94 laps. The main event distance here tonight, the Talladega Superspeedway, the ECT Memorial 500 here at Talladega, currently being led by that Bomb Squad Racing machine number 51 of Mike Morrison, pacing the front of the field. John Forgione in the outside lane trying to make all the things happen moving forward. And he's got a great shove from the 77, that Astroglide machine of Donnie Garrett. They're trying to shove their way up to the top side for third as they hit turn 3.
Yeah, he's trying to, he is definitely trying to slip slide his way up through the top of the field here, trying to get up through the field and try to move it into that third position. And right now, the 77 of the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett, running in that fourth spot right now, inside the top 5, and he's moving up here pretty strong on the top side of the speedway. In the number 77, he's no stranger to victory lane at these super speedways, Phil.
No, and I know a lot of these guys have thousands of laps here at Talladega Superspeedway. I think they know exactly where they want to be, what position they want to put themselves in till the end of one of these things. Is 17 laps up on the board. They'll put 18 around next time around. Mike Morrison continues to lead in that 051 by that outside lane. They are certainly strong off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. That inside lane seems to get a fight back on the inside as they hit turn number 3, Todd. But all this momentum, it is multiple, you know, the strength of numbers is certainly paying off of that top line advantage as you see those top 2 able to break away. And here comes an inside lane fighting back strong. Roger Bevins there trying to shove the 73 of Larry Borger side by side, maybe a little contact as they hit the start-finish line.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of slight contact there, doing a little bumper humping down the front straightaway there. But the 73 of Larry Borger now really fast down on the bottom side of the speedway, now able to pull up alongside of Morrison. This is the best run that they've had on the bottom side here. Coming down the back straightaway, Borger trying to pull up. He's up to the left rear quarter panel, but now look at that top groove. Look how fast that top groove and all the momentum they have coming down the back chute, down into turn number 3. And now that propels Mike Morrison way up in front here. He could play the little line dancing game there. He could go up top, he could go down to the bottom, but I don't think he wants to leave that top side there, Phil.
Well, speaking of line dancing, I want to bring Mr. TV Time Rich Patton into this conversation a little bit. You're seeing these guys working that outside lane, Rich, able to break away just ever so slightly. Is that the place to be if you were out there right now in your 00?
I think right now, you know, to have 2 trains of trucks like we're seeing right now, they're pretty much staying in train for a long time. But I don't know if any of the spectators were watching, if you guys were noticing, but when Larry in the 73 was making grounds on the outside lane, he wasn't running down on the bottom. He was trying to push that top groove up a little bit, staying door handle to door handle with him, and that enabled him to get a little closer to that middle groove. He's running that top stripe in the corner. He's not going all the way down to the apron like we saw earlier, which is, you know, they're losing so much momentum. But by Larry coming up onto that line and pushing them out towards the wall, coming out the corners, he's making up some ground on these guys and able to keep some of that momentum. So I believe that's why the bottom line is doing so well right now when it wasn't doing so well earlier. I think Larry's going to use that to his advantage and get that truck back up there in the front here shortly.
And I think it's all about trying to keep that momentum up, as you said, letting that thing ride up just enough at the exit of these corners. Not enough to stuff that guy up in the outside lane to the outside wall, but certainly enough to impede their run just a little bit, ever so slightly, maybe gain you that advantage on that inside lane. And as you see that, a battle for the race lead is Larry. He's pulled alongside Mike as they hit turn number 3. They're going to be side by side, Todd. Can you believe it? These guys all the way back to outside the top 30, all in tow with this lead pack, 30 cars strong, separated by only 2 seconds there, and we're 20 laps into this thing.
Yeah, these guys running pretty good here through the top portion of this field here, and a lot of these guys just hanging back. There's some of them with different strategies here throughout the thing. They wanted to ride, but I'm telling you, 11th place on back is, as Rich is saying here, I'm trying to work my way to 11th place on back, but they are working about 3 wide through the speedway right now. These guys trying to make up some ground. I see in Brian Bell in that number 25. He's in the middle with that number 25 machine. It looks like Brian Scott. Almost 4 wide here down the back straightaway. Pete Sindone, and that number 1 machine, he is 3 wide right now. He is in the middle, and that's the place you don't want to be. I call it the sucker hole, Phil, and that you're getting pulled from the top side, you're getting pulled from the bottom side. It's just all kinds of disturbance, drafting disturbance through that middle of the field. You can make it work, but it's real tough.
And you see these guys getting all high, wide, and handsome there as they come off turn number 4 through the triangle, for about the 8th position on back. These guys all trying to make their way 3 wide. That third lane has certainly come in. It's got the likes of TJ Hagler making all the moves up there in the 51. The 14 of Brian Hogue. Those guys trying to make things happen on that extreme top lane, Todd, and they are certainly coming. They are on the move. They have marched into the top 10, and they are certainly surging forward off of turn 2.
It looks like the 37 of Denny Daniels, hard left-hand turn down the back straightaway, and that's not what you want to do down the back straightaway, and I believe he went for a ride. Yellow flag going to fly out there on the Speedway, Talladega Super Speedway. I think that was the 37 of Denny Daniels who went for a ride down towards the infield there, Phil.
Yeah, and I don't want to speculate if there was contact there or not, or maybe he just got a little bit loose, but just all of a sudden that 37 just was just gone. It was just off and running and was mowing the grass down the back straightaway, and that's certainly not where you want to be here at Talladega when you get caught up in one of these things with this big pack. And we'll let Rich go back and we'll tell the tale here of what happened to our friend Denny Daniels in the 37, but certainly a wild ride for that Valvoline machine off of turn number 4. It was right around where that 3-wide paddle was there, Todd. Not sure if there was something going on there that maybe set that off, but we'll have to let Rich tell that story.
Yeah, I believe something went on there. Just some of them bump drafting. They're bump drafting, and they're racing real hard back there. And I'm going to blame that on bump drafting, but we'll let Rich have that kind of call there on the Speedway. These guys getting ready to come down on the pit road here momentarily, getting ready to do some yellow flag pit stops here. And some of these guys may make some changes to their trucks, but a tough break for Denny Daniels in that number 37 machine is he went for one wild ride down the back straightaway, and that's not the way you want to even start it. You don't want to end it that way either.
No, certainly don't want to end it that way. We hope to all these guys involved, Denny Daniels, especially the 37. Hopefully he came away from that thing clean. Let's take a look at what happened. I believe Rich is ready with the replay.
Yeah, guys, you pretty much called it. Looks like Denny Daniels made a left turn, but the problem was it was a straightaway, and he ain't supposed to be turning left in the straightaway. We're going to keep an eye on 37 of Denny Daniels as we play this out. We'll go in slow motion. They come off to the corner. It looks like DeMarco right behind him in that yellow truck. They may have got a little bit of a bump draft. You see right there, that bump draft's going to push him out into the wall. Right front corner of Daniel's truck hits the wall. Unbelievable. Watch this. He goes right through the entire field, got slapped one time on the tail, and that was it. Everybody else was able to get through that except Daniels. Meanwhile, he's out there doing some kind of crazy dance in the grass with that truck. Luckily for him, it lands on all 4 Goodyears, and it's just a spin cycle routine going down through the grass. But he does get that thing slowed down, pointed in the right direction, and gets rolling again. But tough break for Daniels in the 37, guys. He went for a wild ride, and there was no turn signal on that truck.
Well, again, as always, I'm not exactly sure how to follow him, Todd. He's got more of those Richisms, spin cycling and doing happy dances and whatever. I don't know how we follow Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton sometimes, Todd. The spin cycle, that's a new one.
Yeah, definitely hard to follow at times. It was Rich Patton. You are too, Phil. Sometimes you just leave me speechless, both of you guys. So it's interesting to see what happens, what kind of comments come out of both your guys' mouths here. But it's been a fun race thus so far. 24 laps completed here of 94. And right now, as we're going down through pit stops, it was ECT David Lawson here leading there momentarily. But some of these guys were able to come back through, and we'll have to see what happens here after we reset, restack, and repack here at the Talladega Super Speedway.
All right, so we're just peeking out on the speedway, seeing all these guys coming to pit road, and not sure if you've seen in the way of guys taking 2 tires, no tires, whatever they're, Todd, but I've seen a lot of gas and go on this end of pit road. I'm not sure what you saw. All right, I think we may have lost Todd there. Trying to get Todd Stanton back with us here at the Talladega Super Speedway, the ECT Memorial 500. Not sure if we've had an alien abduction about Todd Stanton. You know, hopefully he's all okay in his end. And Rich, I think we still have you down there. I hope you got the trailer down there all padlocked tonight, because we certainly don't need any more visitors if they found our friend Todd again.
Yeah, I paused just for a moment there. Didn't want to freak you out a little bit. Made you worry if you weren't talking to anybody. But yeah, we're still down here. Trailer's locked up. Nobody's going to get in here. No crazy people or crazy DRTV fans. I know they're all out there in the community, and everybody wants to get in and see what we're doing and see how we're doing it. And also, yep, we're locked down tight down here, and communications seem to be good. Everything else seems to be good. Want to give a big shout out to a couple guys in the chat box today. We do have the chat box live on YouTube tonight. We, as usual, see our good buddy Bob Tompkins Sr. out there, so welcome for watching, Bob. Also see Brian Wolf out there. We usually don't see him in the chat box. Usually see him out on the track. And big hats off to Wild Customs and Cars. I believe I also saw, I'm not sure where it went, Martin Karch. You see Martin Karch out there as well. And I'll figure out who's missing. I saw somebody earlier I want to give a big shout out to, but I can't find him. But I'll find him in just a second and let you know what's going on. But hats off to those guys watching us on YouTube tonight. And we are monitoring that chat box. If you got anything going on out there, want us to know about it, maybe put it over the air, let us know who you're rooting for and whatnot. And we'll try to get that put in here for you guys. So keeping our eye on everything down here in the control booth.
All right, Rich. Well, I'm out here monitoring this chat box as well. And everybody's dying to know there, Rich. We documented it here a little while ago. We had technical difficulties with the van, Rich. What happened? Because we don't see the van here at Talladega tonight, which every time we come here, that van's a mainstay and usually a really, really big party atmosphere. So, Rich, give us an update on the van.
Okay, so obviously everybody's seeing that the van's not here. We had a mistake in shipping and ordering vinyl wraps and all that good stuff, and for whatever reason, the wrong truck showed up at the track today. I don't know where our van's at right now. It's somewhere else across the country at another racetrack, I suppose. But the vinyl wraps did show up, so the vinyl wraps got put on the Corvette tonight. So we do have our DRTV logo on the Corvette. It's just not as pretty as our van. We all like the van out there, but I wanted to let you guys know that we are looking into it. We are finding out where our van got delivered, and we will get to the bottom of it.
Well, I don't want to speculate on where the van might have went, but if I had any indications, I think it may have ended up somewhere in Alabama, maybe not at Talladega, but maybe not too far from it here as we monitor what's going out on the speedway. The lights go out atop that Corvette DRTV pace car as they hit the start-finish line. 26 laps of 94 up on the board, so 1/4 of the way home here in the ECT Memorial 500. Of course, we're here in honoring tonight lost members of ECT and of the NASCAR Racing 2-on-3 community, that being Lynn Smoke White and Mr. Lynn Boyles. They paraded out here in a long time in the number 34 and the number 47. We're going to have special silent tribute laps here to those two gentlemen as their lap counters come up on the screen here. Currently working lap number 26, and looks all different at the front of the field here, Todd. It's Clef Dalfett, the 201. He was scored here, or no, he was up toward the race lead. Maybe now, let me get caught up with timing and scoring here now. Mike Morrison is the race leader in that 051, so he recycled back with the race lead. John Forgione, Larry Borger, and the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett. That is your front four. Double file restarts that are naming the land here over at ECT Sim Racing. So we'll let these things get back underway. And Todd, I think you're back with us. I'm going to throw it over to you, check on you, make sure everything's all right. And I'm going to get myself all back situated here because I'm not exactly sure what happened to you.
No, I was trying to run down Pete Sindone and trying to get communication with him, and somehow I spilt some kind of my drink all over the board. So we're going to have a difficult time trying to get a hold of some of these guys. But his button, I tried to fix it. I got shocked, all this kind of jazz. So we couldn't get a hold of Pete Sindone. So hopefully maybe Phil, you can fix that. I'm not so sure. But we'll have to see if we can get a hold of Pete Sindone. We wanted to get a word with him, but not able to do so. But we're gonna try to let the blind guy fix these buttons and try to get a hold of Pete Sindone out there on the speedway. But pace car off the speedway, takes that hard left-hand turn. We're getting ready to go back to racing action here at the Talladega Super Speedway, the East Coast Thunder Memorial 500 here. And leading them down to get this green flag will be Mike Morrison, John Forgione, Larry Borger, Donnie Garrett, Clef Dalfett is fifth. Getting ready to get the green flag. Green flag is in the air now. Loud pedal is down. Mike Morrison and John Forgione having one well of a start here in the beginning portion of this event. Looks like Morrison has a little bit of a different gear ratio coming down here into corner number one. Able to get around John Forgione no point flat there. And that number 95 machine, 95 of Forgione, going to drop back there on the top side. That was the preferred group. He's going to drop back. Larry Borger running in that second spot in that 73. Here comes Clef Dalfit. He's moving his way into the third spot. He did have some help. Now that help dropped him like a bad habit, as the 95 of John Forgione going to be able to pull back into third.
Yeah, that help was in the way of a 24 of Roger Bevins. He was in the low side. He was trying to give that Cleft Outfit machine, the 201, a shove forward. But as you said, Roger, he decided to go to the high lane. That's going to leave Clef in the 201 all by his lonesome. Now he's going to make that big move on the inside lane. He's got help there as well now from a 17 of Chuck McClure. Those guys battling forward. Todd racing for third as they hit turn one.
Yeah, these guys definitely racing for that third spot. Looks like Clef Delta on the bottom side in that 201. He is fighting tooth and nail for every inch that he can get on that bottom side there. Larry Borger up there on the top side in that number 73 machine down the back straightaway. Mike Morrison in that 051 went down to the bottom side to help out Clef. Clef right now running on the bottom, and Mike Morrison able to pull him along. They look like they're teammates out there on the speedway. The reason why I say that is I see two drunken cow jerky machines, and they're hooked together. And those guys storm into the front there on the bottom side.
And those guys trying to work together, as you said, on the low side as they move forward. It's Larry Borger, the 73. He's doing all he can with help on the outside lane from John Forgione as they hit turn number one. Mike Morrison continuing to hold the race lead. Those two wide battle for that second spot. The inside lane, Todd, through this interim part of this run, looks to be the strong way around. Is those guys on that top lane just can't seem to move forward enough. Just as I say that, what did you know? The outside lane with a big push off of turn two. Here comes Larry Borger looking for the race lead as they hit three.
Yeah, Larry Borger has all kinds of help from that 95 of John Forgione and that number 95 machine. 95 is working pretty good with the 73 machine on the top side of the speedway. Mike Morrison down on the bottom side in that 051. He's not going to be able to lead this time, I don't think. I think Borger is going to actually have him here at the line. We're going to have to just wait and see this time by. Looks like it's going to be just Larry by not very much. I'm telling you right now, 0.008 as now Mike Morrison forges to the front there in that 051 machine once again here through the middle of the corner, off of corner number two. You're going to see all kinds of momentum on the top side, though, down the back straightaway once again. Morrison now slips up the track in front of Borger, and that was one whale of a move. I didn't think that he had that much room there to move his way up there, Phil.
Oh, he certainly played that just right, and you know, that was just maybe inches away from a mistake there that could have led to a catastrophe at the front of this field. But Mike, as you said, he slides up the racetrack. He's going to keep that outside lane at bay. That's going to open the door wide open for the 201 of Cleft Alpha. He's going to look for the race lead, Todd, down the front stretch.
Yeah, definitely looking for the lead in that number 201 machine working on the bottom side, trying to work over the 051 of Mike Morrison. It's going to be tough to see what happens here. Here comes the 201 there on the bottom side. One wet level push on the bottom. It looks like from that number 17, Chuck McClure. McClure now battling for the second spot with that 051 down the back straightaway. But again, high side prevailing here. All kinds of momentum here on the top side of the speedway. Again, Mike Morrison able to pull up alongside of Dalfa in that number 201.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to scan back through this lead pack, Todd. These guys all in a two-wide formation. Not seeing anything happening there as far as three wide. Now, as I say that, I look further back, and I'm seeing the likes of the 56 of Scott Gaxwhite. He's trying to make something happen in that top lane. Doesn't look like he's got any takers in the way of help up there, but they're trying to get that third lane forming back, Todd. Maybe somewhere around that 12th position on back, but two-wide racing mainly throughout this field.
I was going to say there, Phil, as we were saying about two-wide racing, and we did not cover what happened to Denny Daniels. Denny Daniels in that number 37, outside pole sitter, pulled it behind the wall. Damage was too severe after his wild wide down the back straightaway. So he is out of this race. Denny Daniels in that number 37. Also, Jim Black fell out early in this event. I know a lot of people down there in the YouTube chat box asking for what happened to Jim Black. The aliens abducted him and have not returned him here to the Talladega Super Speedway. They wanted Jim real bad.
It's a tough break for Jim Black, and we're going to hope he's okay, because we never want to get paid an abduction there by those aliens. Hopefully they spit him out here back, and we'll be able to update that Jim Black is alive and well and doing great out there. I'm sure he probably is. just issues on his end. So certainly tough to see. I know Jim was really excited here to be at Talladega tonight, and who wouldn't be? Look at this star-studded field we have here at Talladega. It's being led currently by Mike Morrison in the 051, Larry Borger, the 73, John Forgione at number 95. That is your top three. They're all juking and jiving, too wide racing toward turn 3.
And definitely too wide racing here towards turn number 3. Now it looks like the 21 of Roger Bevins, or 24 of Roger Bevins, and the 201 to Cleft Alpha. They're battling it out for that third position. Going to go do a full field rundown here, and it's going to happen here. Lap 33, actually lap 34 coming up here, Phil.
As we come up on lap number 34, we're going to take a moment of silence and pay tribute to our friend Lynn Smokewhite.
In honor of Smoke to the lap 34 was a silent lap here on DRTV. Your race leader on lap 34 was Mike Morrison. He's going to be one of the winners of one of the signed hero cards from Sterling Marling tonight. So we have to see what happens again on lap 47 to see our second contender for those cards. But we're back live here at DRTV.
They are racing down the back straightaway. It looks like, Todd, we have a new race leader, the 73 of Larry Borger. He was able to stake claim to the race lead last time by in that inside lane. It looks like so far paying off as he has Cleft Outfit, Roger Bevins in the 24. Those guys all making moves there as they hit turn 4.
As we come up on lap number 36 here down through the trial, full field rundown here as we hit the line. Your race leader right now at the line is Larry Borger in that number 73 machine, the 051 of Mike Morrison. He is second. Roger Bevins is third. John Forgione is fourth. Fifth is Cleft Alpha in the 201, the 77 of Donnie Garrett. Chuck McClure, Brian Hogue, and TJ Hagler. Pete Sendone round out your top 10. The 11th is the 015 of Sean Prime. Wayne Quackenbush is 12th in the number 8. Tim Nosker, Scott Guesswhite, and David Campbell. That is your top 15. Brian Bell, Mark Pagula, Brian Voiles, Richard Martin, and David Lawson. There's your top 20. Bruce Phelan, Bruce DeMarco, Tim Scarborough, Ben Beasy, and Slocum is your top 25. Trying to do a full field rundown, Phil, and they're going to reset here on me. But you got Shane Vickers, Mike Scott, Lee Helmer, Rod Nices, JT Mayhew, Fred Morrell, Donnie L, Denny Daniels, and Jim Black. That is your 34 car field as it resets.
The 34 car full field rundown sponsored by the DRL Network. Find us at drlnetwork.com. We're here at the Talladega Superspeedway tonight, the ECT Memorial 500 from Talladega. We're seeing drafting racing at its best here tonight. Trucking at Talladega. Open setups to flavor the land here as we pay a visit to our friends at East Coast Thunder. ECT, as they're all known to us. ECTSimRacing.com is how you find all our friends here at ECT. Pete and Bruce and Mike and all the guys over at ECT, they put on great racing night after night. So many different mods and speedways and different flavors of racing. So I can't recommend these guys enough. ECTSimRacing.com. And Todd, as we look back to the front of this field, this right back will be left at two wide racing to the lead. Mike Morrison up high, Larry Borger down low. Neither line getting advantage as that lead draft now 18 drivers strong as they hit the back straightaway.
Yeah, I'm going all the way back here, looking at who is double file all the way through the field, Phil, and it goes all the way back to that 17th position. That's the 47 of Brian Voiles in that number 47 machine. Oh, yellow flag is out there on the speedway. Contact made back there about around the 20th position. Is yellow flag going to fly out there on the speedway? Not sure what happened, what drivers were involved, but I know it was 20th on back there, or 21st or 22nd, somewhere in that neighborhood. Contact was made and trucks hard into the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, not sure if that was just a product of a bump draft gone wrong or somebody just, negotiating for a piece of real estate that wasn't there, but we'll have to update that with the DRTV replay. Looked like it happened somewhere around the vicinity of the Quackenbush Bruce Phelan machine, maybe even Bruce D in the 75 as well. So we'll have to keep an update on that here. Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, as always, will update us here with the DRTV replay, show us exactly what happened. But it certainly happened there, Todd. Back around where that 18th to 20th position was, and looks like maybe a bump draft gone wrong is maybe what maybe happened in the story there. We'll let Rich tell that, though, here in a minute.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like a few trucks involved are going to be out of this event. And picked a fine time to leave me loose wheel. Fred Morrell, his wheel left him, and that's the end of his night in that number 33 machine. Don L., he's retired from the event. He pulled it behind the wall. I'm going to throw it on to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. Rich, tell us a little bit about that loose wheel there for Fred Morrell.
I'm not sure what's going on, Morrell. I'll have to do some digging on that one. But I did pull up this caution that just came out, or this bump draft that went wrong. It looks like we're going to keep our eyes on DeMarco. He's going to end up out there in the outside wall. But that's because he gets a little bit of help going into the corner from Fallon, Bruce Fallon, as they get into this corner. DeMarco's in the yellow truck on the bottom row. Fallon's right behind him in the black truck. Here we go. They get into the corner. Just as they go in there, there's a little bit of bump draft. Looks like DeMarco didn't get a grip on that. Nose touched the apron, got spun around, tagged a couple different trucks. He finally gets it up against the wall, and that wall's just keeping him sucked up there. He's finally able to get it off of it a little bit, but basically a bump draft gone wrong going into the corner. Tough break for DeMarco, but everybody seemed to be straightened out.
All right, well, I guess that's your DRTV replay there. Rich just kind of leaving you there with a cliffhanger, no throwback, no toss or whatever. But, Rich, we got you here. We're a team. We'll work together on this. That's the DRTV replay. Contact out there between Bruce Phelan, Bruce DeMarco going around, and as Todd documented, multiple different angles involved. And Todd, you got an update from pit road. What did you see happening down there?
Wow, I seen that Astroglide machine, that 77. He got into the rear end of the JT Mayhew machine and sent him around in that number 38 machine. And I tell you what, JT Mayhew did not make his pits, and he's going to have to come all the way back around. I believe he did make his pits. So he had to drive all the way around in the circle after contact with Donnie Garrett, the Nature Boy.
All right, well, you said contact on pit road there with the JT Mayhew machine. Also, Donnie Garrett, the 77, involved in I don't want to hate on it, but it's been a while. So let's see if we can't get a word with the buddy out there aboard that number 77, the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett. Donnie, it's Phil from DRTV, buddy. Get a copy?
What's going on, guys?
Well, Donnie, we're out here watching you guys out at Talladega tonight. It's been crazy out there so far. Tell us about it.
Oh, I tell you, man, I got caught in the first one and grabbed a 360, grabbed a gear and went on and got back up there and come out pretty good after that pit stop, and then almost got into a Pete there. And then this last little pit stop here, I don't know who that was that was coming in, but I was coming out as they was coming in. These pit roads are tight here.
Now, I got to ask you there. You said you almost got into it with Pete Sindone, and anybody that knows Pete Sindone, Donnie, I'm not sure that's the guy, if anybody, you want to mix it up with out there, is it?
No, he might put a figure 4 on me.
That's right. As Rich says, he probably knows the guy as well. But Donnie, as always, it's awesome to talk to you. We certainly don't get to do it here enough on DRTV. You're absolutely one of our favorites, one of our buddies out there. And, we're here tonight, Talladega. We're paying tribute here to Lynn Smoke White and to Lynn Voiles here as well here at ECT tonight. But something we've documented here a little while ago, the flavor of open setup, something we certainly don't see a lot of. And how does that change the name of the game here at a place like Talladega when you can make all these different kind of adjustments?
Well, it changes it majorly for me. I've got to run the high line. You guys know me, I'm a bottom feeder, and I got to be up top. My car, a truck, when I get down there on the bottom, it is all over the place. So I've got to be up top. I'm uncomfortable up here, but it's wherever I'm fast. And boy, I tell you one thing, this thing is hauling the mail. I got to thank Chuck McClure for giving me the setup tonight and helping me adjust on it a little bit, and Mike Scott and all these guys over here, man, they're putting on a great show for our fallen brothers, and it's going to be a good one.
Well, Donnie, you got the Astroglide machine out there as always, giving it a great ride, styling and profile, and there's only one Ken there, buddy. So before we let you go, we need one more woo from you. Thanks for watching, buddy. That's right, a big woo from our buddy Donnie Garrett. Donnie, good luck the rest of the night, bud, and I'm certain we'll be catching up with you again real soon.
I hope you guys have a good race, good call, and you guys are the best.
All right, that's our good buddy Todd, the Nature Boy. Donnie Garrett, always probably one of the favorite guys for us here to talk to anytime we can. And always get that woo there. You get that woo, it always makes for a good time.
Definitely clears the air just a little bit. We got some guys in the chat box. Want to stir up this chat box. I know we're almost about halfway home here. This 500 Memorial race here by East Coast Thunder, and we're almost halfway through. Let's hear who your favorites are out there in YouTube chat box land. We'll try to get them out here on the air here for this Memorial race. Who is going to win the 500 Memorial race here, brought to part by the East Coast Thunder group?
All right, so I'm just trying to monitor there, Todd. Sorry about that. Trying to get my screen all worked out here. No, we just had communication there with Donnie, and of course we do that through Wind Race Communications. I'm trying to get all my screens back under control here, and monitor the chat box. See all these guys out here week after week. I'm seeing J Rock out there. I'm seeing John Norton out there from Wild Customs, all going back and forth, and Too Slow Graphics out there as well, and all these guys. Can't thank them all enough for all the support they give us here on DRL Network, and for all we do. And we got a great event here tonight, the ECT Memorial 500 from Talladega, Todd, and looks like lights are out atop the DRTV pace car, and we're about to light the wick this thing on this once again and put this thing back under green flag conditions, and we're fastly approaching the halfway mark.
Yeah, fastly getting to that halfway mark, and that's going to be when we give away another one of those hero cards here on lap 47. Also going to be another silent lap here. Going to see who's going to get that second hero card out there on the speedway as we're getting ready to go back to green flag racing here momentarily. I believe we're down the back straightaway right now with the number 051 leading this event again, and still up front here. Actually, it's going to be the 73 of Larry Borger, excuse me. And it is your current leader, but the 051 been strong all evening long, the 051 of Mike Morrison, and he is running second. So we're going to have to see what he's going to do. Normally, he's been restarting on the top side of the speedway, this time on the bottom side in that 051. So we're going to have to see. Just wait and see how Mike does on that bottom side, Phil.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Something we haven't seen a lot of all night long here as we get ready for the restart. The field is in turns number 3 and 4. It is Larry Borger. He's going to restart with the race lead in the 73. Mike Morrison, Cleft Outfit, Roger Bevins, John Forgione make it your top 5, 6 through 10. Chuck McClure, Sean Prime, our pole sitter, Donnie Garrett, Tim Nosker, and Brian Hogue has found his way into the top 10. The field working its way off of turn number 4. Pace car about to make that hard left-hand turn down the pit road, and there comes Todd, and we're about to put this thing back under the green flag conditions.
Yeah, definitely getting ready to put it back under green flag racing here. Getting ready as we come down here through the trial. Pace car down on pit road here, moseying down through here, getting ready to go back to green flag racing for the East Coast Thunder Memorial 500 here for Lynn White and Lynn Voiles here, falling way too early. Bunch of great guys. Green flag in the air, excuse me, as I'm trying to take a sip of my soda. But Larry Borger, one whale of a start there as he did beat him down here into the corner with that number 051 of Mike Morrison. Morrison down on the bottom side may have spun his tires just a little bit there on that start, Phil, but now he's got all kinds of momentum, and here he comes. Freight training down on the bottom side. Toot-toot. On the bottom side, down the back straightaway, and put Morrison to the lead with Cleft Outfit right there in his tire tracks.
Yeah, right there with tire tracks. As you said, they had help from John Forgione and that number 95, but he swung to the outside lane. He's going to tuck in behind that Larry Borger machine. Can the outside line make something happen at the exit of turn number 4? The inside lane so far prevailing, but you see numbers, Todd, they're starting to strengthen up on the outside. Here comes Larry Borger out for the race lead off of 4.
Yeah, numbers, strength and numbers on the top side right now. It looks like 4 trucks down on the bottom side, but Larry Borger going to lead this time by here with one whale of advantage with John Forgione right there on his rear bumper. Just a little bit of a YouTube chat box. Powerhouse TP wants John Forgione or Brian Voiles to win this race. The 051 has been strong all evening long. Bob Tompkins Sr. has picked the 051. Still waiting to hear from some more of these guys down on the back straightaway. As we're coming down the back straightaway, I want to see some more of these guys in the YouTube chat box. Who's going to win this race? I've got 2 guys that have picked winners. Who else is going to win this race here tonight?
Who's it going to be? YouTube chat box. We put the shout out to you as we see Great Ross racing off of turn number 4. It is Larry Borger with the race lead, but a power move being put on by that 24 of Roger Bevins. He was able to bring that thing from 6th all the way up to the 2nd spot. Now 2 wide racing, looking for the race lead as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, I'm watching Roger Bevins beautifully prepared. That's that Monster Energy Roger Bevins in that number 24. He's running pretty well there on the bottom side. He's got help. It's kind of switched there. The 051 of Mike Morrison, he switched around from the lead now, pushing somebody, and that'd be the form of the 24 Roger Bevins down the back straightaway. But I tell you what, Phil, I'm watching some slam drafting going on down that back straightaway, and when I say slam drafting, you're seeing John Forgione all over the rear bumper, and he's not even kissing the bumper. He's slamming the bumper of that number 73 machine right there in front of him. He's trying to propel him and stay out front of these guys here and maybe try to be the Pied Piper of sorts here. We're going to have to just wait and see as we're coming up here on lap number 46. That is the completion of lap number 46. One more lap, Phil, and we're going to have a silent lap for Lynn Voiles here. And one of them hero cars is going to be given away.
As the field works its way now off the banking down the back straightaway, all chasing our race leader, Larry Borger, on the backstretch, as you said. Looking to see some juking and driving now. Almost 3 wide maneuvering down the back stretches. Mike Morrison, he got stuck down the outside lane. That's going to allow guys like Pete Sindone and Donnie Garrett, the 77. They're going to sneak on by. That's going to be some hairy situations there. 3 wide for about that 6th position on back as they work their way off of turn number 4. That's going to put number 47 up on the board as we pause here and pay a silent lap of remembrance to our friend Lynn Voiles.
Welcome you back, race fans. That was our silent lap, number 47 for the memory of Lynn Voiles. Current race leader at this time was John Forgione, so he is our 2nd driver in line for getting these hero cards signed by Sterling Marlin, sorry about that, So at the end of the race, depending on where John or Mike finished, one of them are going to get first pick on one of these 2 signed cards from Sterling Marlin. So keep your eyes out for John Forgione and Mike Morrison where they finish tonight, because whoever wins out of those 2 guys gets first picks on those cards, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, and it's such a cool prize being offered out to all these guys here tonight at ECT. Those 2 gentlemen, as you said, 2-time Daytona 500 champion Sterling Marlin hero cards autographed by him himself. And this race, of course, being sponsored by one of the presenting sponsors here tonight, Sterling Marlin Racing. So I want to make a shout out to all them guys out there. Thanks for being a part of this great event. We're so thankful to have here on DRTV tonight the Talladega Super Speedway as they work their way off of turn number 2. John Forgione now with your race lead in the number 95. Pete Sindone in the number 1. He's worked his way now up to the 2nd spot. Chuck McClure, Donnie Garrett, Brian Hogue is your current top 5. And as they certain at turn number 3, Todd, looks like 4 trucks have snuck away.
Yeah, 4 trucks have indeed snuck away here momentarily, but I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who has another word for us.
Yeah, I was notified by ECTs, the guys that run this event over here for us, and that contacted us working with us. We wanted to give a big shout out for Sutherland Marlin House and also Michael House tonight. And also, if you're watching tonight, turn. This race is dedicated to you as well, buddy. Thanks.
That's it. Said turn. This one is certainly for you as the field works off turn number 2. Still all chasing the legs of John Forgione at the front of this field. But Todd, as you say, those first 5 guys that have come forward all night long, that being the Larry Borger machine, Roger Bevins in the number 24, those guys have all tangled up back again on the inside lane. They drop back all the way outside the top 5. And as we come off of turn number 4, putting 50 laps up on the board, they're going to be once again looking for the race lead as they exit into the tri-oval.
And I'm watching some of these guys, Phil, and somebody that has not been up towards the front here this evening so far is the one of Pete Sindone. Sindone running right now in that 3rd position. He's on the outside lane pushing right now the number 95 machine of John Forgione, and it looks like the 95 there up on the top side of the speedway getting one whale of a push from the one of Pete Sendone, but the Larry Boger machine on the bottom side, he is getting one whale of a push from the 24 Roger Bevins. So it's interesting to see what's happening. These guys 2 by 2 by 2 down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're about to negotiate their way around a little bit of lap traffic, too. Looks like the 8 of Wayne Quackenbush is going to fall off the lead lap. Is there too wide for the race lead into turn number 3? It is Forgione up high, Larry Borger with 73 down low. We've updated that lead pack all night long, Todd. It is still 27 trucks or stronger, better all the way back through this field. 28 drivers all have a breath of that lead pack, and we're now past flat number 51. We are past the halfway marker, and probably at least one more stop from here, Todd, you would think here for 2 Kansas Sunoco Racing Fuel?
Yeah, definitely at least one more pit stop here from here. It's actually, the pit window is 17 to 21 laps, so you're going to have to actually see about 2 more. As now we're going to go 3 wide down the back straightaway, and Larry Borger stuck in the middle. No help, no drafting help. That is tough for Larry, as now he's stuck in that sucker hole. Nobody's going to go up there and help him, and everybody is all around him here on the high side, on the bottom side. These guys just working their way around him, and Larry Borger dropping like a rock through the field.
Yeah, he certainly is. One of the faster trucks all night long, was up in that ranks of the top 2 or 3 cars, and now going to be stuck in that sucker hole. As you said, he is going to drop all the way back to the tail end of this draft, almost outside now, certainly outside the top 10, maybe all the way back into the clutches of all the way to the backside of the top 20. Nobody letting him back in line. You see him 3 wide back there. He's got the 51 of TJ Hagler to his outside. The number 43 of Richard Martin down low, 3 wide. That's for about 15th on back as Larry Borgerton continues to fall back through the field.
Yeah, nobody's actually helping that 73 machine, and that's a tough break for him. Is one of the faster trucks out there right now at the Talladega Super Speedway, and they just don't want to help him, and he's dropping back through the field. That's gonna, same thing did happen to the 24 as we were talking about that. Roger Bevins walking, dropping back through the field. He's back there with the Larry Borger machine, and those guys just dropping back through the field really, rather quickly. Sean Prime back there in that 015 machine. Yeah, it could be a little bit of strategy, as Rich is whispering in my ear. It could be a little bit of strategy for some of these guys for pit strategy, maybe to get together and get all these guys down on pit road, maybe get a clean pit stop. It's tough when you got a whole gaggle of trucks coming down to get that last pit stop under green flag conditions. It is really, really tough here to maneuver down on pit road. And some of these guys say with this open setups, when you're loose and coming down off that embankment down to the back straightaway, or down on the pit road, that it's a real handful.
Oh, it certainly can be a handful, as you said, open setups coming off. And as you look down the front straightaway, they are just about 4 wide up near the race lead, Todd. I can't believe awesome action here on lap 55 as they hit turn 1.
Yeah, these guys battling out tooth and nail. Pete Sendone in the middle there. I'm watching Pete Sendone in the 051 and Mike Morrison. These guys all over the speedway. These guys 3 wide right now, not 4 wide anymore. These guys sorting it out just a little bit. Looks like Donnie Garrett now moseying on, trying to mose to the lead here, but he's pushing Chuck McClure, ECT Chuck McClure, in that number 17, Avocare, we build champions there, that Silverado sponsored machine there. And right now he is actually in the lead in that number 17 machine with Donnie Garrett pushing him on the bottom side. Forgione in that number 95 got one whale of a push from the number 1. Looks like a yellow flag going to fly. There's cars all over through the tri-oval.
Yeah, it is a gaggle of cars through the tri-oval there, and I'm not sure if maybe that was precipitated by an engine expiring there, but they were 2 and 3 wide racing all the way through that top 25, and that's certainly going to make some interesting and hairy positions there. If something happened there, a miss aboard one of these drivers, it's going to make for interesting times there off of turn number 4. So that's going to put us under yellow flag now for the 3rd time tonight, working lap number 56 of 94 in the ECT Memorial 500 tonight here at the Talladega Superspeedway. We'll let Rich Patton go back and show us what happened there with the DRTV replay, Todd, but I'm not sure if you can whiff there what happened.
It looks like contact was made between, I believe, the 13 and the 56, as Scott Guyswhite in that number 56, Guyswhite Creation-sponsored Toyota Tundra, and that's a tough break as he was rolling down the front straightaway. We're going to have to let Rich let that all sort itself out because there was quite a few trucks involved. I thought I seen the 47 involved in that also, Brian Voiles in the 47. I think I seen him involved, but I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time Rich Patton, who has got that replay queued up and ready for you.
Yeah, guys, a little quick on the button there, a little slow on the button on my part, but we're going to keep our eyes on the 56 of Guys White. And as this thing goes out, you said it correctly, there was a little bit of contact between Fallon and Scott in the 56. They made contact right there. That's going to send the 56 sideways, goes back into Fallon, and then all of a sudden there he gets hit again. Guess who that's by? I believe the 47, Brian Voiles. Brian didn't have nowhere to go. It happened right in front of him. Next thing you know, the 13 gets kicked out to the left. And we're going to keep our eyes on Scott because he tangles up with the 47 a little bit. These two trucks are dancing as they go. Next thing you know, we're roof surfing. We're rolling. He is going through the tri-oval at a barrel roll. Just keeping our eyes on him. He finally lands down on all four Goodyears, pointing the wrong way. Brian Voiles also coming to a stop, pointing the wrong way as well. But tough break for both of these guys. Looks like Scott might have got the worst of that one, guys. Back up to you.
That's certainly a tough break for Scott Geiswhite in the 56. He was one of these guys, Todd, we talked to earlier this week. He was certainly excited here to come out tonight. Thought he had the setup that was just going to be dynamite here tonight, be real competitive, be a factor for the win. And unfortunately, our friend Scott, it looks like he may be tore up just a little bit.
Yeah, definitely tore up, and tough break for Scott aboard that 56 machine. It's difficult to see him. He had a one wheel of a setup, I know he did, in store for him here later on in the event. And if I know Scott, he was riding around, Phil, just waiting to pounce here later on in the event. And it's just tough break, uncertain for circumstances out there on the speedway. And I'm gonna have to spit that out. Wow, it's just amazing what happens with Scott and some of these guys. It's a factor of good, hard racing. I'm telling you, 3 wide, 4 wide here at Talladega Super Speedway. Open setups, loose setups for say, and it's just tough, Phil.
Well, yeah, it's certainly a different animal and a different breed here tonight, and it's certainly made from some exciting racing. And you were talking about 3 wide, and one guy that's really been at the tip of my attention all night, making moves 3 wide, almost 4 wide back there. It's been our old friend, Mr. TJ Hagler, aboard that number 51. Let's see if we can't get a word with the driver. TJ, it's Phil from DRTV, buddy. To copy.
What's up, gentlemen?
We're doing well, my friend. Looks like you're having a great time out there aboard that 51. Looks like the racing has been absolutely wild back there. We've seen you 3 wide a couple of different times. What's that been like?
Yeah, it's like a yo-yo. When you get to the bottom, it pushes off, so I haven't been real too keen on to be on the bottom, so the middle and the top groove, you got to go where they're not at.
Now, as we look at the laps clipping off here, TJ, I'm going to be under 40 laps to go because I'm going to be assume and be safe from here. Can you guys make it on one more pit stop from here?
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Now, tell me, what's going to be the thinking there? If we get the benefit of a long green flag run, maybe break that thing up a little bit, or are we going to see guys come in and maybe take tires? Are we going to see gas and goes? What do you think is going to see the mainstay of what we're going to see?
As much fuel as you got to take, you might as well take at least 2 sides left or either 2 sides on the right.
All right. Well, I'm certainly thinking you're always one of the faster guys here. We come to ECT, and you're no stranger here to finding your way to the front of Talladega. But what do you think we can expect to see here over these last 40 laps? Because I've been watching you a lot all night long, and we're seeing things start to get really dicey out there. We've seen almost 4 wide racing that last time. Are we going to see a lot more of that here through the last little bit?
Oh yeah, business is fixing to pick up.
All right. Well, TJ, once again, as always, great to talk to you. I'm going to give you the floor one more time here before we get on the restart. I want you to give a shout out to your friends, your family, your sponsors here. The floor is all yours, my friend.
Thanks, guys. I got to thank everybody for tuning in. This is all about Lynn White and Lynn Voiles, thinking about them 2 guys we lost. Got to thank Bruce for the paint, for the sponsorship. SQ Racing. Got to thank Rolling Grill. Got to thank ECT, Sterling Marlins Group. Thank you, everybody at DRTV.
All right. Well, that's our friend TJ Hagler. TJ, good luck the rest of the night, my friend, and we'll talk to you again here real soon. Good luck.
Thanks, boys.
All right. TJ Hagler aboard that 51, Todd. Is one of them guys, you come to ECT, you always look for TJ Hagler, and he's certainly been no stranger to mixing it up here tonight. He's had a fast piece, and if I'm a betting man, I think you're going to see that 51 up toward the front here when this thing comes to settle.
Yeah, definitely going to see TJ up here. He's one of the faster guys out there on the speedway here. We've seen him time in and time again really, really fast. And there's a lot of these trucks coming down on pit road, Phil, and a lot of these coming to the aid of their pit crews, being led by the 83 of Tim Scarborough and another BSR guy, Bomb Squad Racing guy. A lot of different leagues in this event there, Phil, and he's coming down. I believe he stayed out the last time everybody else came down. He's coming down, and I believe to top off on fuel here in that number 83 machine.
Now, I'm thinking, Todd, looking at, we're working lap number 58, 94 is the distance, we certainly, no math made it, as you said, but I think that equals 36 laps here from the finish, and I think it's probably at least, probably one more stop on fuel. Do you think these guys all topping off there, Todd, are thinking that in the back of their mind, stuffing this thing full of fuel and maybe trying to make this thing on one more stop from here? Do you think they all can do it?
It's going to be tough. I don't think they can. It's just they'll have to come down at least one more time, and then they'll be fine. They can make it on one more pit stop. If they're going to try to stretch it, if they get a couple of yellows in their favor, I just don't think 34 laps. They're going to be able to stretch it 34 laps. But 21, 22 laps, I think we could see that.
But we'll have to keep an eye on that as the field working its way down the back straightaway. Lights are out atop the DRTV pace van. And as Todd said, a new race leader in the number 17 of Chuck McClure, the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett. He'll find his way on the outside of the front row on the restart. John Forgione, TJ Hagler will be row number 2. Sean Prime, Cleft Outfit, Mike Morrison, Tim Nosker, Richard Martin, Mike Scott. That'll make up the top 10 on the restart as they hit turn number 3. We're about to have a dash to the finish here. 59 laps of 94 on the board. The ECT Memorial 500 paying tribute tonight to 2 fallen ECT drivers, that being Lynn Smoke White and Mr. Lynn Voiles, who was just lost to us here real recently in the community, and to all the guys over at ECT. We have a lot of great racing here left to go here. Now less than 35 laps to go, and Todd, it's anybody's race from here. We're going to pay attention to the restart here. Pace car about to make that left-hand turn to pit road.
Yeah, pace car indeed, making that left-hand turn down the pit road here. He's down on pit road, getting ready to go back to green flag racing, getting ready down on the trial here with the number 17, the Chuck McClure, Donnie Garrett, John Forgione, TJ Hagler, Sean Prime, and Cleft Outfit. That is your top 6. Don't count out Mike Morrison in that 051. He is 7th. Tim Nosker, Richard Martin, and Michael Scott. They round out your top 10. Green flags in the air. Loud pedal is down. And we're getting ready to race here down in the corner number 1. Lap and a half to get up to full song. And look at Donnie Garrett and the Astro Guide sponsored machine on the top side of the speedway. One whale of a start compared to Chuck McClure, and look at him go. In that number 77, he works his way around the top side, now back down to the bottom side. He had help from that number 51 of TJ Hagler, but now Hagler leaves the 77 of Donnie Garrett. Put Hagler to the lead.
Yeah, put TJ to the lead, as you said, as they hit the back straightaway with a tremendous push there from a Cleft Alpha to 201. That outside lane really making a beeline out there to the front. They're going to leave Donnie Garrett all by his lonesome in the inside lane. That's 5th place on back. I believe he's picked up his some help back there. Looks like it may be the 088 of Tim Nosker, who's latched onto the 77's back bumper there. As those guys trying to move forward there, Todd, now all chasing racing to Chuck McClure in turn 1.
Yeah, here comes the 015 of Sean Prime down to the bottom side. He has help from Tim Nosker. Nosker in the 088 machine helping the 015 of Prime down on the bottom side. Sean Prime working his way. He looks to try to get around the number 51 machine of TJ Hagler. Not going to be able to pull off the pass down the back straightaway. Too much power down on the top side for TJ Hagler. Hagler now going down into turn number 3 on the top side once again. Prime trying to fight back, but I don't think he has the help on the bottom nor the momentum as Hagler still leading this event.
Well, he had a tremendous run into turn 3, did Sean Prime. He went from like 7th all the way up to 4th, but as you said, that strength of numbers in the outside lane going to prevail as Sean will get drop kicked now back through the field. He'll try to wind that black and white number 015 up on the inside lane, but that outside lane starts to be rolling on by. Seeing the likes of John Forgione, the 95, those guys all starting to march back forward. That's racing inside the top 5, and now still all chasing race leader TJ Hagler down the back straightaway.
Another guy piercing inside here, the top 5, that number 18 of David Lawson. Lawson making some moves in that Mountain Dew Code Red sponsored Chevy Silverado out there coming down the back straightaway here into turn number 3. He is helping the 77, the Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett. Garrett right now running in that 4th spot, and 5th right now, like we were saying, is David Lawson aboard that number 18 machine. Got the 051 of Mike Morrison. He is running in 3rd. And 2nd right now is Clef Daltha, and 51 of TJ Hagler still continues to lead this race here at the line. These guys are pretty much single file throughout the top 5. We have a few battles here going on through the field. Sean Prime still working on the bottom side of the speedway, now trying to fight it out with the number 95 of John Forgione, and he's not able to he's able to pull up next to him, but again, top side, strength in numbers, Phil. Down the back straightaway, Forgione able to make short work of Sean Prime, and here comes Forgione. He does a high-low switch. Looks like to get around the number 14 of Brian Hoagie Bear in that number 14 machine. He's going to be short work of him. Here comes Forgione. One whale overrun. Had the steam on the bottom side. Looks like he's going to be able to complete the pass on David Lawson also in the 18 machine. I have not seen a move like that all evening long. And Forgione marching towards the front.
Yeah, he certainly did. But what I'm not sure of, Todd, is he going to be able to sneak that thing back in the line and make that thing work? And I think he's going to just be stuck there on the inside lane. He's going to have to stay there, but he has help from a 25 of Brian Bell, who has pulled to the inside. They are starting to make on the march, as you said. Forgione now up to position number 3. He's got his sights set on that Mike Morrison machine. They're going to be side by side for 3rd down the backstretch.
Yeah, definitely side by side there with Forgione and the number 18 of David Lawson. Lawson and Forgione make contact there, doors slamming each other. They're going into corner number 3 and out of 4. Forgione, the benefactor of that, he's able to pull up alongside of David Lawson and be able to pull up in front of him.
Great racing going on for position number 3 as they put 65 laps up on the board. Donnie Garrett, the 77, trying to make things happen up high. But here comes Mike Morrison, the 051. He led a lot of laps here through the middle stages. He's trying to stake claim once again to that top position, chasing TJ Hagler, Clef Daltha, really strong in the 201. Those guys, Todd, glued to the outside lane, that bottom lane. They can get up to that 3rd spot, but they can't do anything to get up toward the race lead.
Yeah, and it's tough. As we were saying earlier on in the event, here comes Mike Morrison back down to the bottom side again. Strong through the corners is that bottom side because it is the shorter way around the Talladega Super Speedway. But like we said, more grip, more power up on the top side right now with being led by TJ Hagler. But as we were saying before, though, Phil, that's not, you're able to complete some passes down there, but you're going to have to be able to pinch that line up just a little bit. You're not necessarily going to have to run the bottom side. You're going to have to pinch up on these guys that are running on the outside of them and be able to slow down just a little bit of their momentum there. So it looks like now, though, if you want to Mike Morrison able to pull up alongside there for TJ Hagler there for a little bit, had one whale of a run here down the back straightaway, not able to do so now.
Oh, certainly not going to be able to do so there, as we're seeing guys starting to peek around in that pack there. That lead pack, 27 drivers, less separated by less than 2 seconds from 1st all the way back to 27th, all in contention to win this race now. 66 laps up on the board of 94. That inside lane, Todd, with a tremendous run, will propel Mike Morrison back to the race lead. Is it going to stick at the line? Not quite sure. That outside lane is coming. They are 2 wide, 14 rows deep as they hit turn 1.
And it looks like TJ Hagler got it by .008 over the 051 of Mike Morrison. Morrison battling on that bottom side, and he's not giving up. He's the battle of the 51s up front. You got the 051 and the 51. TJ Hagler, the battle of the 51s. And right now, TJ Hagler winning that battle down the back straightaway with help from Clef Daltha in that number 201. As you're seeing down the back straightaway, Mike Morrison actually pushing up the track, running almost right next to the 77 of Donnie Garrett, trying to use that momentum, trying to kill a little bit of their drafting effect here on the top side of the speedway, able to get that run, and now it's going to go 3 wide down here through the trial. It looks like Morrison caught in the middle.
He certainly is caught in the middle. Forgione, the 95, he swung down to the low side, had a tremendous head of steam. We'll see if John Forgione can't establish his way back toward the race lead as he makes a tremendous move inside, sorts it back to 2 wide racing. Looks like Mike Morrison able to get his way back in the line. Here comes Donnie Garrett, the 77. He'll make the high-low switch, put Donnie Garrett there. He's a factor for the race lead as they hit turn 3.
Donnie Garrett made that move down to the bottom. The 051 of Mike Morrison up to the top side. And that 051 now, he finds himself behind the number 201 of Clef Dowsett. One of his teammates out there on the speedway. That should help him just a little bit. Donnie Garrett still working on the bottom side in that number 77 machine. That is not where he wants to be. He'd rather be the middle groove to the high groove, but he's got to go where everybody else is not. And that is the bottom side right now. The Nature Boy, Donnie Garrett, working over the bottom side around Clef Dowsett, now battling, trying to pull up alongside of the 51 of TJ Hagler.
Yeah, trying to do all they can. Great racing here at the Talladega Super Speedway. But I want to ask Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, a question here. I know I need his expertise on this one. And Rich, these guys probably about 6 to 9 laps away from a green flag pit stop if we get there. How much at this juncture can you afford to be aggressive on the setup here? Can you afford to maybe push that thing forward? Or are you maybe thinking a little bit conservative there as we look at 3 wide for the race lead? But Rich, your thoughts on that thought?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you get too aggressive, there's still quite a few trucks out here. The pace is very fast. They're still running 196, 198 mile an hour. And now, as you can see, we've got 3 wide situation going on, you know, from 1st to probably 12th right now. So it's really tough. You get too aggressive. We haven't seen the motor pop yet, but it could be that somebody tries to get a little too aggressive. And they might not be there at the end, even though they might have made the move that's going to get them up front. So it's going to be tough to see. I think the big key here is if they do get under green flag pit stops, they're going to have to go in with some friends. They're going to need help because that's probably going to split the bunch up. I can't imagine a big pack going in all at once because that's going to cause chaos going into pit entrance. So I believe it's who your friends are at this point, and you got to get in and get out with them and try to, you know, do the best you can to get in and out without losing too much track time. So that way, you know, you don't fall back too far.
No, you certainly don't want to fall back too far. And I'm just scanning back through this pack, Todd. These guys 3 wide racing, 8th position on back. You know, we look back there, I'm seeing the likes of Richard Martin of the 43. They're all just, he's stuck kind of that sucker hole. That line forms up 2 wide, 3 wide. And you look at that, I don't know where you want to be there. You want to be on the top, you want to be in the middle, or at this rate, Todd, do you want to be on the bottom?
You know, you almost control your own destiny down on the bottom side. It's tough to be down there, but that's where I want to be, is down on the bottom side, because maybe I won't get run up into. If you're up on the top side of the speedway, I do not want to be in that sucker hole. It's the most uncomfortable feeling in the world, is to run that middle groove unless you're trying to make the progress yourself. But a loose setup is not where you want to be, in the middle. Some of these guys will differ with me. I know a lot of the guys in the YouTube chat box will differ with me. And Phil, I just don't want to be in the middle. I'd rather be the bottom or the extreme top if I have to be. But middle, forget it.
Yeah, well, as we document what's going on in the top 5, there, the top 4 drivers have seemed to break away for the time being. Donnie Garrett is your current race leader. John Forgione, Mark Paglia. Had not talked about Mark a lot all night long. He has found the 428 up to the 3rd spot. Brian Bell 4th. Sean Primer scored 5th position last time by, but here comes that 051 Todd. He's been one of the stronger cars in the field all night long. He's got that outside rolling there. He's got help from the likes of, looks like the 14 of Brian Hogue, the 75 of Bruce D. Bruce DeMarco there as well. That outside lane once again establishing its way forward, Todd, off of turn 4.
Yeah, definitely starting to establish their way forward. Like you said, Mike Morrison leading the charge on the top side with, it looks like, the number 14 of Brian Hogue right there behind him in that number 14 machine. These guys trying to get this top group working once again, going to do 2x2x2 all the way through the field here. Right now, Donnie Garrett working on the bottom side, leading some of this event in that number 77 machine. But here comes Mike Morrison firing back on the top side of the speedway, and look at him go by the number 77. That's flying past them. Look like 77 just put out a parachute as they go around him on the top side of the speedway. Now Brian Hogue and the 051 of Mike Morrison drop back down to the bottom side. Forget the guys that helped him. They're going to go to the bottom side.
But you're getting toward the tail end of this thing. You got one more pit stop left to make. You want to establish yourself to the front of this field. And you know, Mike Morrison, Brian Hogue, those guys doing exactly what they had to do. They cleared Donnie Garrett. They dropped right back to the low side. And you would think, Todd, 74 laps of 94 on the board now. You would probably think these guys are probably 2 to 4 laps away from a green flag pit stop. If you're out there in your crush number 91, what would you be doing out there? Is it no tires? Is it 2 tires? Is it 4 tires? What would you do if you're up in that lead pack?
no tires and Sunoco racing fuel, and I would be down and away. And I'd just be looking if it would be a can and a half or 2 cans. Most generally, it'd probably be about 2 cans. It depends on how far you go, but I don't know. I'm willing to bet can and a half, Phil. You could get away with here, maybe even a can if you really want to stretch it, because you only have 13 more laps to go after you take this pit stop.
I don't know, Rich Patton, I'll ask you the same question. Are you going to be a gambling man like Todd, maybe take a can and a half, or are you going to take a full 2 cans and maybe play the conservative role?
I don't know. I think it's going to matter what your buddies do. You know, like I said earlier, if they come in together, they need to all plan to do the same thing so they get out together, I would think. You know, if it's a joint effort and they all take 2 and 2 tires, then maybe that's the ticket. You know, I don't know if anybody's actually tried to see how long 1 tank or 1.5 tanks is going to get them. Obviously, like Todd's saying, they could probably be in the window and it wouldn't hurt them. But again, I think it's going to be all communicating with who you're going in with.
I think you're absolutely right there. As we keep our attention toward pit road, I think you're going to see it open in probably about 1 to 3 laps. I think it's going to be a seriously busy place. I believe Rich may get the punt cam already lined up for us, see if we can't get a shot of these guys all sprinting on the pit road when that time comes. But it's all been quiet at the front of the field. Mike Morrison has established himself once again as the race leader. Brian Hogan, the 14, the second spot. Donnie Garrett, he's comfortably in that position number 3. Now side by side for that 4th spot. John Forgione down low. Wayne Quackenbushel, the number 8, he is up high. He is currently 1 lap down, Todd in 28th, but he's all racing hard up in that lead pack, trying to make something happen in these closing laps.
Yeah, definitely trying to make something happen and help some of these guys up towards the front of the field here, as Mike Morrison still leading them with Brian Hogue running in that 2nd spot. Donnie Garrett 3rd. 4th is John Forgione. And 5th should be Mark Paglia in that 42 or 428 machine. Going to be interested to see what's going to happen, how all these pit stops are going to play out, as it looks like the number 8 now giving way here to the rest of the field as they're coming down through the trial wall here into turn number 1. Looks like hopefully green flag pit stop's not that far away. Starting to look, it looks like the 51 is pitting, the 428 pitting, the 051 is pitting. All these guys have their calls going out. A lot of radio chatter, Phil. A lot of trucks coming down pit road this time by.
We're going to pay attention toward pit road. It looks like, as you said, multiple guys all positioning their way to the inside lane. And never mind that, yellow flags on the speedway. That's going to throw a monkey wrench in what was going to be the last green flag stop of the night. We haven't seen any of them here tonight in this ECT Memorial 500. And not sure if you got a whiff there or what happened, Todd, to put us under yellow flag for the 4th time tonight. But that certainly throws all that strategy now out the window.
I'm not so sure what happened. I know my replay blimps out a little bit here, and I'm not sure what happened to, I believe it was the 43 of Richard Martin. There's a few other trucks involved in this down the back straightaway. Just as green flag pit stops are going to hit, like you said, Phil, and that's going to make this a whole different strategy play now. And I wanted to see the green flag pit stops to see that separation, but tough break for some of these drivers involved down the back straightaway. Not a lot of heavy contact, though. A lot of spinning through the grass, but we're going to wait and see what Mr. TV Time Rich Patton has for us.
Yeah, and I did not want to see that caution. I wanted to see how that was going to cycle through on a green flag round of stops there, see if this field of was 26 at the time, saw if that was going to all stay together and maybe come back as one. But, you know, as always, you come to a place like Talladega, you got a cycle of green flag pit stops. It always breaks up the field a little bit, and I was certainly anxious to see how that was going to play out. But that's all going to go by the wayside now, is these guys all going to comfortably be in their fuel window from here, working now lap number 78. We're going to put 79 up on the board. Pit road is going to be open next time around, and you got to imagine, Todd, all these guys at the front of the field, they're going to come to get service the first time by and probably get that thing full of fuel and call out the last pit stop of the night. But we'll talk about that strategy here as these guys roll on to pit road. But let's throw it down to Mr. TV Time Rich Patton, who's got the DRTV replay queued up.
Yeah, guys, we're going to keep our eyes on the yellow truck. That's going to be the 75 of Bruce DeMarco. Looks like he plays tango dancing there with the apron a little bit. We'll let this play out and let you see what's going on. First of all, we'll run this at full speed. Gets down on the apron. Truck gets a little upset. He tries to save it, overreacts or overcorrects it. Goes up, hits the 47. That's Voiles, Brian Voiles. Going to turn him sideways. We'll go ahead and run this in slow motion. There's a lot of trucks here involved. 47 goes down, tags the 18. It looks like looks like somewhere in here the 13 also is going to get tagged. Oh, there it is. The 43 comes over off the wall, bounces it off the wall, tags the 13 in the right rear corner. That's going to spin him around. So we got 3 trucks down on the infield spinning slowly. Voiles, as you can see, finally get his truck straightened out. Doesn't look like anybody did any roof surfing or door sliding or anything like that, but a lot of flat spotted tires, and I don't think this could have happened at any better time. This is going to bring the field all back together, all under the pits, and it's going to be a race for that checker flag, guys.
I think it's going to be a sprint race to a checkered flag there, Todd. As I'm looking up and down pit road, I've seen all these guys, Mark Pagli's, Brian Hogues, Donnie Garrett, those guys all come in. It was all gas and goes. Them guys just getting their service done and getting back on the racetrack, and I'm going to assume for the last time tonight.
Yeah, a lot of these guys down on pit road, I was looking up and down pit road, all gas and goes. Like you said, Hogue was down on pit road, gas and go. You're taking gas. I would almost say it was not going to hurt you to take those tires, those right side tires or those left side tires. Notoriously, your left sides are going to be faster than your rights, but I wouldn't say it would hurt you. It just because you had to take almost 2 cans of fuel there.
Yeah, we'll have to see how all that shakes out, but I'm going to assume there are 2 cans. These guys are all going to be good from here, and a lot left to play out. So we'll have to document here what happens when this thing all resets. Your current race leader last time around was Donnie Garrett, but I think he has already come to pit road. So we'll see if we can't maybe talk to another one of these drivers here. We're out there in this ECT Memorial 500 tonight. Todd Pickler, who can we get here? Can't get the 51 of Mike Morrison. Let's see if we can't get him all squared out. I think we may have got him here. Mike Morrison, it's Phil from DRTV. Do you have a copy?
Hey, how's it going? I'm sorry.
No, Mike, very good. We got you on the horn here. You're having a great run out there in the old 51. What's the racing been like out there? You got less than 20 laps to go. You guys have probably come for your last pit stop. What do you think we can expect there through these closing laps?
I think it's about to get exciting. I ran out of fuel there on that last stop. That's why I'm back here now.
Now, you said you ran out of fuel. Was everybody pushing there, leaning on that fuel mileage? Was everybody there within a lap?
We were all about to pit right there on that next lap when that caution came out. There was a few that were going to stay out. Could have made a couple more laps, but for the most part, it was going to be a big ordeal over there on pit road, I think.
Mike, you're going to restart from deep in the field. What do you think we're going to see here through these closing laps? There's a long way to go.
You're going to see a whole lot of 3 wide, a whole lot fast.
All right. Well, Mike Morrison, from all of us here at DRL Network, I'd like to thank you for a couple of words here and give that thing a good ride here the rest of the night. You're having a good run.
All right. Thanks for everything, y'all.
All right. That's Mike Morrison, the driver of the 051. But you said, Mike, Todd, he had a great piece all night long. He said he ran out of gas right there. Going to have to restart from deep in the field. Not a lot of laps left and a lot of places to go. And I'm sure he's been fast all night. He's going to have to make this thing exciting, and I'm sure he will to come back to the front of the field.
No, he was saying 3 and 4 wide racing there, Phil, and that's the way of the land at Talladega Super Speedway. High-speed chess match. You just got to put yourself in position here towards the end. And right now we're on lap 80 of 94, so we got about 14 laps left here. I believe we're going to be about 13 laps left, 12 laps left here when we get the green flag to go back to racing here. The Memorial 500 sponsored by the East Coast Thunder guys. It's interesting to see what's going to happen, Phil, how this is all going to play out. We've had different guys up towards the front, but the guy that's been consistently working his way back up towards the front is that 015 of Sean Prime. Prime sat on the pole here early, and now he's back up to second, Phil, in that 015 machine. Is he going to have the help from the rest of these guys here? It looks like some of these guys have been helping him and others haven't. But you got John Forgione and TJ Hagler, Brian Hogue. Hogue is having a good run here inside the top 5. Clef Delta, Larry Borger, Tim Nosker, Mark Pagula, and Ben Beasy. Beasy, another guy we haven't talked much about, but he is running in that 10th position. So a lot of different players up towards the front of the field this time. We're just going to have to see how it's going to play out, Phil. I know a lot of these guys down in the chat box have not picked a winner because they said there's just too many fast guys out there, too many guys that can win this race. And I almost have to say I agree with them because there is indeed a lot of good guys throughout this field, and a guy from 21st, 22nd could win this race still.
Well, Todd, the chat box refuses to do so, so I'm going to allow you to set the precedent here tonight because I want to hear from the chat box as well. I want to hear their predictions of who's going to win this thing, but I'm going to put you on the spot first and foremost. Who's Todd Stanton DRTV pick here tonight?
Well, I've been watching the guy really well, and I hate to do it. I hate to pick anybody as we're coming down the back straightaway, and hopefully they're not listening. But I'm going to go with one of the 51s, and that's TJ Hagler. He's been strong, and he came to the front here later on in the going. And I'm going to pick the 51 of TJ Hagler. I want the YouTube chat box to pick somebody. You could pick 2 drivers for all that matters. Just who's going to win? Who's it going to be here at the Talladega Superspeedway for the Memorial 500 here for Lynn Voiles and Lynn White, ECT Smoke? Who's it going to be, guys? This is your last chance. I see a guy saying 201 is the winner. I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton. Rich, who's going to win this race? And you got to pick a guy.
Well, I think I'm going to pick a number. I'm going to reverse your numbers and add a big fat 0 in front of it. I think the race winner tonight's going to be that 015 is Sean Prime. He is dominant on super speedways, and he's got a clean picture right in front of him, a clean racetrack right in front of him, plus he's on the top side starting out. So I think it's going to be heavy, and I think he's going to be one to watch on this restart for these last 13, 14 laps.
All right, well, there you got picks from the DRTV control booth here for Rich Patton. Todd Stanton has made the pick here. We're going to find out what's going to happen. The DRTV pace car finds its way to pit road. We're going to turn the controls over to the nature boy, Donnie Garrett, Sean Prime. That's going to be your front row. Green flag in the air.
And Phil, you're not going to get away that easy. Who's it going to be for you? Who's your pick going to be as green flag is in that air?
Well, if you're going to put me on the spot, which I had a feeling you probably would, I'm looking up and down the field, and guys that have been strong up in this top 10 all night long. If I got to pick one, I'm going to say the 73 of Larry Borger. I think he's been one of the stronger cars out there all night. I think he's in good position. I don't want to have any part of this lead pack here be one of these top 2 guys. I want to play the draft. I think Larry Borger, Todd, he's in the perfect spot.
Okay, so we got the 73, we got the 51, we got the 015 from the guys up here. And now we got 2 wide racing going on as Sean Prime did momentarily take the lead in that 015 machine. The 201 and the Clough Delta. He is working on the bottom side. Looking at the YouTube chat box, we're seeing Too Slow RTG. He's got the 015 and the 77 are going to be top. Yellow flag going to fly out there on the speedway. To some of your guys' predictions down here in the chat box, but yellow flag out there. It looks like some incident through the trial there.
I didn't quite get a good glimpse there of what happened. I'm sure Rich is going to find it long before I do, but I'm seeing guys pulling away off the banking there. Looks like those guys may have been involved. I'm seeing a couple guys in the wrong direction here. I've found Chuck McClure. I think we're going to see even one up in the air, and I don't want to speculate and take away all of Rich's thunder. But this is a big one here, Todd. This has got multiple drivers involved, somebody going through the flip cycle here. I'm even making a gander. We may even get the re-debut of the Turtle. Not sure what you saw, Todd.
I didn't get to see much because I was trying to monitor the chat box. I just caught it out of the corner of my eye. But as Rich is trying to cue that up, TDR Jack says TJ Hagler. We also got Ron Senior out there in the chat box. He's saying the 73. Bob Tompkins Sr. just says he agrees with something, but he says the 051's been strong all night, so he's picking him. Wild Customs and Cars, he's picking the 015. James Kentonese is picking the 51, TJ Hagler also. So I'll keep monitoring this chat box. I'm going to throw it back to you, Phil. Hopefully Rich will be ready here with a replay, a DRTV replay here momentarily.
And that's certainly going to change the complexion of things down here. Is we're going to have 84 laps go on the board next time by. Listing restarts, we're going to have less than 10 laps remaining of this ECT Memorial 500. All bets are off from here. The gloves are going to come off. These guys are going to do all they can here. We're live on DRTV tonight. It's East Coast Thunder. These guys know how to have a good time. They're going to drive their pants off to find their way to victory lane. But before we see what's going to happen here on the sprint to the checkered flag, let's see what happened here. Put us on a yellow flag for the 5th time tonight. So, Rich, I believe you're ready with the replay.
Yeah, guys, this is a tough one. We just got this thing underway a lap or 2 ago, and it looks like there's going to be a good race towards the end. But as we know, things get a little hectic when people start getting a little anxious. It looks like Paglia might have made some contact with McClure. We're going to keep our eyes on that white truck in the middle of this group. McClure gets pushed up into the 46. 46, watch this. He's in the guardrail or in the wall, upside down, doing airborne barrel rolls. Just amazing. All of a sudden, we see McClure get smacked again by the 43. That's going to send him spinning and spinning. Doesn't look like any other trucks were really that much involved. We see the 46 still up against the wall, facing the wrong direction. 17 is going to finally come to a stop right there down on the apron. He's able to get that truck turned around in the right direction as well. So a lot of action happened very quickly. Looked a lot worse than it probably was, but the 46 and the 17 looked like they got the worst of this one, guys. Back up to you.
Yeah, it was certainly interesting moments there for Mike Scott. He was doing that the little barrel, as you said. It was one innocent roll, but it certainly had contact all around it when it was happening. Sure, there's damage to the 46. Also a tough break for Chuck McClure. I know he's one of the faster guys here. Every time you get to the Talladega Superspeedway and you see that 17 check-in, he's always going to find himself toward the front of this thing. Chuck McClure seems to be tore up, Todd. A lot of fast drivers tore up in this thing, but you look to the front of the field. Sean Prime, TJ Hagler, Cleft Alfit, those guys all been fast all night long. The cream of the crop has certainly risen into update the likes of Mike Morrison. He was restarting deep in the field on the last restart. He's found himself now up to 12. There may be time for Mike from here to make this thing back to the front.
Yeah, there may be time for the 051 and Mike Morrison to make his way back up towards the front of this field. He's 12th, but the laps are ticking away out there on the speedway. One more update from the chat box. I got one more viewer out there. The 015 of Eddie Lee is saying the 015 of Sean Prime. He is going to win this race. So there's a lot of Sean Prime fans out there, and they're all on Rich's side here. So a lot of people picking the 015 of Sean Prime.
Well, it's a safe pick. We know Sean's fast. We know he was on the pole. We certainly know Sean knows his way to victory lane at Talladega. And, you know, every speedway we go to, you see the 015 show up. He's always a contender. You know, as you said, TJ Hagler's going to be strong. We've seen Cleft Alpha, another guy we haven't talked about all night long, Todd. That's the 088 of Tim Nosker. He's going to restart in that fourth spot. And we know Tim from Midwest Sim Racing. Those guys notorious for racing a series at Talladega week after week. How much do you think that experience of having all these laps at a place like Talladega, this version especially, will pay off for a guy like Tim Nosker here late in the going?
It's definitely going to pay off for him, and we're going to have to just wait and see what's going to happen. He's got to have a partner, though. You cannot do it without a partner here on the speedway. You've got to have some drafting help. You got to see who's going to push you and who's going to push you to the front. You just can't do it by yourself. You can certainly try, but more often than not, Phil, and I've been on this quite a bit, if you have no help out there, you're not going to win the race. You can darn well try. I've came up short in second or third or fourth, and I know you've had the same feeling being out there all by yourself.
Well, yeah, that's a sorry feeling when you feel like you're just out there with no help. It's kind of how I feel every time I hit the drive button in my DRTV Motorsports Team Crush number 93. I mean, it's feel like you're out there all by your lonesome here, even in a draft. You just got to have friends, and you know who's going to have friends here late in the going. Currently working lap number 85 of 94. The field is in the back straightaway. We're awaiting the restart. Looks like the lights may be off atop the DRTV pace car, so we're about to get this thing all lit up once again. You look to the front of the field, all the lights still on the DRTV pace car, so it's going to be at least one more lap till we get back under the green flag. As these laps continue to click away, Todd, what are you thinking if you're the likes of Sean Prime, if you're TJ Hagler on that front row? Is Clean Air going to be the place to be to come up to speed, or you're going to want to be further back in this draft? Are you going to want to be a guy like, say, a Ben Beasy or a Donnie Garrett? You're going to play the benefit of that draft and maybe make that charge for the race leader. Can you do enough to defend yourself as those lead cars?
Don't know. I would rather be out in the lead right now. Get Clean Air, because I'm betting you some of these guys put a little extra tape on their trucks to try to get a little bit more downforce. Not sure.
All right, we'll have to see what happens there. I believe there may have been a little bit of issue there with Todd Stanton. We'll let him get all sorted back on the way. The field making its way back through the tribal, assuming the light's going to go off atop a DRTV pace car this time around. Is the field now hitting turn number 1. But Rich Patton, I'll ask you the same question I asked Todd here as we're awaiting the restart. Do you think these top guys at the front of the field, do you think they have enough to hold the draft back, or you want to be 3-4 rows deep in this draft and maybe have the whole shot momentum to make a run at the lead here at the end?
Again, it's all about teamwork here on this track. You know, with this many trucks involved, I think it's who's in front of you, who's behind you, on where you want to be. I don't think I would want to be sitting in the front row at this point because there's too many big names behind you. And these guys are not afraid to go 3 wide and even 4 wide if need be. So, you know, again, it's who's in front of you, who's behind you. I think I'd probably want to be sitting between the second and fourth rows at this point and have a couple team buddies, you know, one in front, one in the back, see where it would go. Or maybe even 2 in front might work and get a good slingshot off of 2 cars. Who knows? But it's going to definitely be interesting. And if Prime's going to win this event, he's going to have his hands full.
All right. Well, the field's still behind the pace car with the lights on in the turn number 4. We're going to assume they're going to go out next time around. But if you like what you're seeing from these guys tonight, you're enjoying the programming, the racing, check this clan out. East Coast Thunder. ECTSimRacing.com is how you found these guys. Find Pete Sindone, Bruce Phelan, Mike Scott, all the guys at ECT. They do such a great job here. A great event put on this year, as they've done annually. The ECT Memorial 500. For years, it's been paid tribute to Lynn Smoke White, and unfortunately this year we add the name of Lynn Voiles as to the ones they memorialized. 2 former East Coast Thunder drivers. They were very poignant members here and very valuable to all of us in the NASCAR Racing John 3 community, and we're thrilled to have this great event here on the DRTV airwaves this evening as the field working its way down the front stretch and the lights going out atop the DRTV pace car, Todd. So we're going to be 1 lap around away from putting this thing back under the green flag. Looks like we may have a lucky dog here this time around. I'm thinking that maybe the 38 of JT Mayhew. He was on the tail end of the lead lap. So that's going to put 27 drivers on the lead lap here, Todd, now with less than 7 laps remaining. Business about to pick up, as we heard TJ say here. We heard Mike Morrison say it's about to get interesting here these closing laps.
Definitely going to get interesting here in the closing laps, and we're looking at the front row. Sean Prime was your leader, so he had lane choice. He chose the outside in that 015. TJ Hagler is on the bottom in that 51. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out. But Sean Prime also does have help from Tim Nosker on the outside in the 088. Those guys run at the MSR Midwest Racing over there in RTG, Rolling Thunder Gaming. Those guys race a lot together, so those may help themselves out just a little bit. So those guys running hot and heavy over there. You got Donnie Garrett also really familiar with those 2 guys, but you got the East Coast guys. TJ Hagler knows these guys all pretty well too. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to go with who. Is the League Alliance going to stay together, or are they just going to pick different partners and tango that way?
Well, Todd, we said it once. We're going to say it again. It's going to be a slobber knocker. Business is the wick is about to be lit here as they work their way off of turn number 4. Pace car about to find its way to pit road. That's going to turn it back over. TJ Hagler going to restart in the inside lane. Sean Prime, the 015, our pole sitter, going to restart up high. We've seen the outside lane dominate here so far tonight. The pace car rather is in. I don't know why I keep saying van. Gets this on the brain. Missing that van here tonight, but we're about to put this thing back under the green flag. The starter looking over the field. A long wait here as we await there. The starter sees the drivers there at the ready. TJ Hagler about to put the power down. Green flag in the air.
Loud pedal is out in the 015 of Sean Prime has one whale of a start on the top side of the speedway. TJ Hagler on the bottom side in that 51 machine. He did not get as good of a start as did Sean Prime, but here comes Hagler down to the bottom side. Prime not leaving his wingman, the 088 of Tim Nosker. Nosker up on the top side. He wants all the help that he can get, but TJ Hagler going to be able to blow by here momentarily on the bottom side in that number 51 machine. Seeing a lot of lane jucking and jiving and juking and jiving through the field down here, down the back straightaway. Some of these guys trying to figure out what lane they're going to be. Hagler and Prime almost touched there going into turn number 3.
Yeah, they are bumping, they are banging, they are bumper scooting toward turn number 3. Is going to be TJ Hagler. He's going to inch out to the race lead, but Sean Prime, that outside lane, trying to form back up. Maybe even a third line starting to form there. About fifth position on back. Looks like Sean Prime, that first truck in the outside lane. We're seeing Tim Knopfler starting to peek out. Now the middle line's going to form. Here comes Brian Hogue. He's going to make the whole shot move to the middle to turn 1.
Yeah, Brian Hogue through the middle, and that number 14 machine, one well removed by Brian Hogue. Oh, contact made down the back straightaway. Guys around, and there's all kinds of carnage. Lots and lots of trucks. That is the big one. Down the back straightaway, cars in the air. Tough break for some of those guys. I believe there is racing back, and I'm not sure if it's going to end this way. But you've got TJ Hagler leading them down here, Phil.
TJ Hagler is going to pace the field off of turn number 4. Yellow flag is in hand for the 6th time tonight. These guys are racing back. I'm not sure we're going to see a restart from here. It's going to be really close down to the line. Looks like it's going to be TJ Hagler, Todd. He's going to have the unofficial lead here as they hit the start-finish line. 90 laps of 94 on the board. I don't know, Todd. Do you think we have enough laps from here? We have drivers a lap down. Are we going to see a restart?
I don't think we're going to see a restart. I think that's the end of the race. If we do, we get a one-lap shootout. We'll just have to wait and see. And, man, a lot of trucks involved, heavily involved in that right down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that certainly gathered up a couple. I saw Tim Knopsker involved. I think I seen Larry Borger involved, Brian Bell, multiple guys all getting a part of that. I think also Bruce Phelan, the 13, may have got a piece of that as well. That's going to be a wild ride. This happened mid-pack, and it's going to happen, Todd. These guys are live on DRTV. We haven't seen East Coast Thunder on our airwaves in quite a while, and these guys here, of course, paying tribute to Lynn Smoke White and to Lynn Voiles. They were doing all they could to try to find the way to victory lane, and you got to expect as the intensity intensifies here, you almost expect you're going to see a wreck like that in the closing laps, and unfortunately for these guys, looks like a lot of guys got tore up in this.
Yeah, indeed, a lot of guys getting tore up, and that's the intensity. That's the fire here at one of these Memorial races and Memorial 500, and these guys all trying to make it to the front, and they all want to win the race. And that's a racer. They're going to try to make the moves that they can and try to get up towards the front. And sometimes these incidents happen, and it's just a good hard racing here.
So as the field rolls back now, they've caught the DRTV pace car down the front straightaway. 91 laps are going to go on the board. But now the question is, Todd, are we going to see a restart here with now 4 laps remaining up on the board with 1 driver a lap down? Looks like this is going to claim a couple of drivers here. I see the 43 of Richard Martin going off on the hook, the 46 of Mike Scott also going off on the hook. So this wreck has claimed multiple drivers here. Instead of talking about it, let's show everybody what happened out there. So, Rich Patton, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, guys, a lot of stuff's going on here. I'm going to try to keep up with some of the main action, but as you said, there's quite a few trucks involved. We're going to see all kinds of different things going on, and we'll play this out as we go. So we're going to keep our eyes on the 051. That's Mike Morrison. He's one of our hero card winners we talked about earlier. Let's play this out and see what happens. Looks like Morrison makes a little bit of contact with the 77 and Garrett down on the bottom. He taps his right rear corner. That's going to send him up into Nosker, I believe that is, the 88. And they're going to do a little tango dancing right there against the wall. We're keeping the cameras up there, even though we got other cars sliding, because right there, all of a sudden, the 051 Mike Morrison is up on his nose going backwards. We can also see Nosker going across the track sideways. Looks like his right front tire's up in the air. Things are getting all out of control. But the one to watch is that 83. We can also see, looks like the 43 is also on his side spinning, but the 83 is spinning unbelievably. He goes right into the roof. I believe that is Nosker as well. No, that's the 13. The 13 went right underneath him. He's going to get caught, blow his motor as well as he goes up into the air. And then all of a sudden we saw the 24 get slapped again in the tail. That's going to spin him like a teacup at Disney World. Crazy. A bunch of trucks spin in the wrong direction, but I think the biggest one, the most scariest ride is probably going to be that 83 doing barrel rolls up in the air in all different directions, guys. Unbelievable event on the backstretch.
Yeah, that just tore up, as you said, multiple drivers involved. There were hard hits all around. Roger Bevins, Tim Scarborough among the many, spinning like a teacup in Disney World. A richism that I don't think I could come up with. Is the field now working its way off of turn number 4. The lights are still on. We're going to see here at the start-finish line, do the lights go out? We're going to put 92 of 94 on the board. I'm thinking you're going to see a restart here. Maybe a green-white situation here. The lights are going to stay on at least one more lap around. But Rich Patton, I don't know what we can expect to see here over these last closing laps. I think it's going to get interesting. You know, at this point, if you're TJ Hagler, if you're Clef Daltha on that front row, Is it your race now? Do you think you have further control of this thing? This thing is a restart here with a one-lap shootout?
It's going to be interesting, Clef. You know, I didn't say much about Clef when I was chatting about who I picked, but he has been up there and he has been a contender. He knows how to lead this train around this track, so I think he's probably in a good position. Again, I don't know that we're going to go green. If we do go green, it's going to get crazy, and I wouldn't doubt it if we see a lot of trucks crossing the start-finish line sideways.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see what's going to play, how it's going to play here. We're going to have those yellow lights go out atop this this pace car here this time by, I believe, in order to get a one-lap shootout, though. But it's going to be interesting to see. Like you said, I'm going to do a rundown here of the top 20 or so that are left out there on the Speedway, top 24 left out there on the Speedway. TJ Hagler, your leader. Second is Clef Delta. Ben Beasy is third. Fourth is Donnie Garrett. Fifth, John Forgione. Sixth, Brian Hogue. Seventh is Brian Bell. Larry Borger is eighth. Ninth is Brian Voiles. 10th is Shane Vickers. 11th is Chuck McClure. Robbie Nice is 12th. David Cannon is 13th. Mark Pagula is 14th. 15th is JT Mayhew. Roger Bevins is 16th. 7th is Wayne Quackenbush. 18th is Tim Scarborough. 19th is Sean Prime. 20th, the 051 of Mike Morrison. Tim Nosker is 21st, and Slocum is 22nd. 24th or 23rd on the field is David Lawson. 24th is Pete Sindone. Bruce Phelan is out with a piston in the 25th position. Lee Helmer is 26th. 27th is the 46th of Mike Scott. Richard Martin, 28th. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Are we going to go back to green flag racing? It may be over, Phil.
Well, we're looking toward the DRTV pace car as they hit the start-finish line. The lights are going to go out. We're going to get a one-lap shootout to settle the ECT Memorial 500. Is it going to be TJ Hagler? Is it going to be Cleft Outfit? Is it going to come from row 2? Can Ben Beasy or John Forgione get there? Will something happen and bring Brian Hogue and Brian Bell to this thing? It's going to be anybody's race, but a one-lap shootout to finish it here. And what better way to pay tribute to Lynn Smoke White, to Lynn Voiles, than just a one-lap shootout at Talladega, Todd? Does it get any better than this?
It doesn't get any better than this, and this is the next flag ends it, and it's just you're going to race all the way back here. It's going to be a barn burner, and business is going to pick up. Intensity is going to pick up 100 times. So in this event, TJ Hagler thought he had it in the bag. Officials say, nope, definitely not. It's Hagler now down through the grass in that 51 machine. I'm not sure what TJ was doing there.
Well, he almost, well, they could call it maybe a Mark Martin. Not sure if he broke a gear or maybe thought the race was over, but TJ's got it all gathered up. He's going to reclaim his position here as the race leader on the restart. That was some interesting times there. We'll see TJ. Hopefully all is okay, but if he broke a gear, Todd, how crucial could that be on this restart?
It's going to be real crucial if something happened there. We're just have to wait and see. Is Hagler now back up there next to Cleft Alpha? And did he hurt his tires? Did he hurt his tires in that number 51 machine? We're going to have to see what's happened. Maybe his wheel fell off. Something went on. Something went on there. We're not 100% positive, but the pace car getting ready to make that hard left-hand turn. So reach up there and pull those belts one more time here at the Talladega Super Speedway, Phil. Who's it going to be?
A one-lap shootout to settle it. The pace car is in. The starter is ready. Green and white flag in hand. Looking over the field, TJ Hagler, Cleft Alpha, your front row, awaiting the green flag in the air one more time around.
One more time around as they fight tooth and nail down here, down to the first corner. That's going to be their first best corner is Dalton on the outside at 201. He's trying to make headway around the 51 of TJ Hagler. Hagler working over the bottom side. He has help from the number 14 of Brian Hogue. Dalton on the top side in that 201. Side by side down the back straightaway, Phil.
Who's it going to be down the back straightaway for the final time as they hit turn 3? Can TJ Hagler hold off the outside lane? They're going to be almost 4 wide behind them. Brian Hogue making the move up to position number 2. That's going to drop kick Delphi on the outside lane off of turn number 4. Checkered flag is going to be in the air. TJ Hagler, can he hold them off? The starter has a checkered flag in hand. Here comes Brian Hogue to the outside. Hagler to the low side. Hogue in the middle. Down to the line. Who's it going to be? TJ Hagler's going to win the ECT Memorial 500.
Wow, what a finish, and they were wrecking in the trial. Well, what's a Talladega race without a wreck in the end of that race? And there was a wreck there, and that was an amazing finish. And just to give you guys a hindsight of what happened there, TJ Hagler wins by .049 over Brian Hogue, left out right there with a .0057 and .0087 Larry Boger. That's how close that finish was. What an amazing victory for TJ Hagler and the Black Cloud once again, leaving me and going to someone else. That's amazing there.
Well, that was amazing racing all the way around. TJ Hagler taking down the win. Brian Hogue coming home in the second spot with a great run. Clef Dalf at third. Larry Borger fourth, and a great run for Ben Beasy. He'll bring the 00 home in the fifth spot, Todd. And as always, we'll see if we can't get words from our top three finishers here. And we'll give you a minute there. We'll see if we can't get them screened out.
Now, like you said, TJ Hagler, Brian Hogue, Clef Dalf, Larry Borger, Ben Beasy, Wayne Quackenbush in the number 8, Shane Vickers, Roger Bevins, Robbie Nices, Tim Nosker. That's your top 10. 11th through 15th was Brian Bell, Brian Voiles, Mike Morrison, Slocum, and McClure. 16th through 20th was Sean Prime, John Forgione, Mark Pagula, David Lawson, David Cannon. 21st was Pete Sendone, JT Mayhew, Tim Scarborough, Donnie Garrett, and Lee Helmer. That was your top 25. 26 out of this event, Bruce Phelan, Richard Martin, Mike Scott. You got Bruce DeMarco, Scott Geisway, Fred Morrell, Don L, Denny Daniels, and Jim Black with a disconnect here early on in the event. He finishes up in that 34th spot.
Well, that was a 34 car full field finishing order here from the Talladega Superspeedway. TJ Hagler taking down the win. Brian Hogue coming home in the second spot, and a great run for our third place finisher, the 201 of Clef Dalfeda. Clef, it's Phil from DRTV, buddy. Do you have a copy?
10-4, I got you.
Clef, you had a tremendous run out there in the 201. What were you thinking on that restarting there on the outside lane all by your lonesome? That must have been a helpless feeling there. Tell us about that closing lap.
We were wondering if it was even going to go green again, and all I was going to do was just try to pull off the best finish I could. I knew guys were going to be scrambling probably 3 and even 4 wide there at the end to try and get the best finish that they could. It was a lot of fun. It was a great race all night long. Congratulations to TJ there on the win. Had a lot of fun racing.
Yeah, Clef, it was certainly a tremendous outing for all these guys out there. You guys certainly put on a tremendous show, and of course here tonight to pay honor to our friends Lynn Voiles and Lynn Smoke White that were long-standing members over here at ECT. But Clef, I want to give you the microphone one more time. It was a tremendous race. I want you to give a shout to your friends, your family, your sponsors, your teammates. So give a shout out, my friend. The floor is all yours.
I'd like to thank ECT and Mike Scott, everybody else who put in a lot of work to make this event happen. And it was just an honor to be able to race here tonight and honor a couple of our fellow sim racers that are no longer with us. Really enjoyed myself, and thanks a lot.
All right, well, congratulations, Clef Dalfa, on a third place finish here tonight. I'm going to throw it over to Mr. Too Tall Todd Stanton. I believe he's caught up with our runner-up finisher, and that being on Mr. Brian Hogan, the 14. So, Todd, over to you.
Just losing the race by .0049 is Brian Hogue. Brian Hogue bringing home a second-place finish, but that's nothing to shake your head at, Brian. Congratulations, second-place finish here this evening. Tell us about those closing laps. I'm telling you, that was one whale of a show you guys put on.
Thank you. Yeah, it was hectic, and I just tried to make a late pass on TJ, and he just threw a block on me, and I had nowhere to go.
Did you honestly think that we were going to go back to green flag racing? I believe you restarted in that 6th position, and then you had to make some moves that you did, and ended up coming home second. Did you think we were actually going to go back green? I was, for one, thinking we weren't.
I wasn't real sure. Maybe a one-lap shootout like we had, but I thought we weren't for sure.
Well, Brian, again, congratulations on your second-place finish. But I'm going to give you the microphone. The floor is all yours. Thank whoever you'd like to thank. We don't see you enough here on DRTV. We don't see you enough here in this top 3, but here you go. Here's the microphone. Shout out, thanks whoever you want to thank and whoever was watching.
All right, I want to thank everyone for watching DRLTV, ECT, Rolling Grill Barbecue, Quad Q Racing, SM Racing, in a way for putting up with me doing this almost all week.
Again, congratulations, Brian. Great podium finish, second place here this evening. Again, congratulations goes out to you, and appreciate it there, Brian. It's was an amazing show you guys put on.
Thank you guys for putting it on. Thanks, Todd. Have a good one.
Oh, that's the driver of the number 14, Brian Hogue, bringing up our second place finish. I'm going to throw it down to Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, who's caught up with our race winner. My pick here this evening to win this race, Rich, TJ Hagler.
Yeah, I hear that, Todd. I've made my way down here to Victory Lane, and I'm standing here next to TJ Hagler in the number 51, your race winner today. TJ, holy cow, man. How does it feel?
Feels good. Kind of shot me when we were going back green with a one-lap shootout, but man, what a finish.
Yeah, no kidding. I was seeing on the chatter boxes between the drivers a lot. Everybody thought you done wrapped that race up. Nobody thought we were going to go green again, even up here in the booth. We were wondering ourselves, and we saw them lights go out on that pace car, and everybody started getting excited. So, holy cow, we're going to have us a one-lap shootout. But, man, what a field tonight. 3 wide, 4 wide at times. You've been up front for a good portion of the night battling with all these big names. There was a lot of big names in this race tonight. You know, congratulations on the win. You know, was you sweating it on that last lap, or was you looking in the mirror? What was going through your thoughts on that last lap?
One lap shootout, knew from first to second gear, didn't take off quite like I wanted. When I got to third gear, it'd go. So I was wondering how we were going to do, because when we got to fourth gear, he was right beside me, and he had a teammate. I had to jump in front of the bottom line and just hope I got a good enough push.
Yeah, I think looking back at the replays, I think that top line broke up just enough to keep your momentum going down there solid. They kind of lost push for just a moment. Otherwise, it was going to be really tight. But one heck of a finish, one heck of a show tonight, man. And congratulations on your win. Congratulations to your crew and your family and all. And we're going to give the mic to you. The floor is all yours. Congratulate who got you here on this special event tonight, buddy.
Yeah, I got to thank ECT, all the admins, all the staff owners, all our BSR guys for running with us, the RTG guys, MSR. Great group of guys here representing not just your leagues but yourselves, because we lost 2 really good friends, Smoke several years ago, and then we lost Lynn Voiles last year, and it's a big loss to the whole community, so we all come together. Got to thank the sponsors for the event, Bruce, who painted my truck, and his Q Auto Body and Q Racing. Got to thank Rolling Grill. They also sponsored this event. DRTV, you guys did a great job on the broadcasting as always. Also got to thank Sterling Marlin's group. They put up a special little prize up. Got to thank them also.
All right, well, there you have it, race fans. Your today's winner, the number 51 at TJ Hagler. TJ, we'll let you get back to your friends and family and pit crew and do some celebrating. Guys, up in the booth, one heck of a race today.
Oh, it certainly lived up to it, Todd. We had all the anticipation here for a couple of weeks now about the ECT Memorial 500, and it certainly all lived up to all the billing. We had a tremendous field here tonight, and we saw some fantastic racing from all these guys over at East Coast Thunder. It was a great job by all of them.
Yeah, indeed, a fantastic job, a fantastic memorial event for these guys tonight, and a fantastic ending to what I see as a fantastic race that we always have here on DRTV, Phil.
Well, it certainly was, and I want to say thank you to all these guys at East Coast Thunder. Find them at ectsimracing.com, and of course, the home of DRTV is drlnetwork.com. So until next time, check out the full broadcast schedule on the website. Pay attention to our social media on Facebook for all our updated schedules. Until next time, from my broadcast partners, Mr. TV Time, Rich Patton, Too Tall Todd, staying up here in the booth. My name is Phil LaCasse. I'd like to thank you for watching us here on this special installment of DRTV on the DRL Network. Good night.